Lights are live.
Oh, yeah. They're always a blast.
What are we fighting about? What's that? Well, I don't know.
It's time there. Yep.
The December 2nd, 2025 meeting of the City Council is called to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk Redpath, can you please call the roll?
Yes, ma'am. Alderman Cox.
Here.
Alderman Gregory.
Here.
Alderman Williams. Here. Alderman Rockford. Alderwoman Purchase.
Here.
Alderwoman Natrano.
Here.
Alderman Carlson.
Here.
Alderwoman Conley.
Present.
Alderman Donlin.
Here.
Alderman Hanauer. Here. Mayor Busher.
Present.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you, Clerk Redpath. The civility pledge. In the interest of civility, I pledge to promote civility by listening, being respectful of others, acknowledging that we are all striving to support and improve our community, and understanding that we each may have different ideas for achieving that objective. There are no proclamations or presentations this evening. The chair will entertain a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes of the November 18th, 2025 regular City Council meeting and approve the minutes.
So moved, Mayor.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The chair will entertain a motion to incorporate the pre-council first reading of ordinances into the record of this council meeting.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. The chair will entertain a motion to incorporate the pre-council reading of the consent agenda into the record of this council meeting.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The chair will entertain a motion to place the consent agenda on final passage.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the consent agenda? Seeing none, the voting will now be open. All those in favor of the motion, please vote yes. All those opposed, please vote no. And how do we have 10 with one out?
10.
Pardon me?
Gregory's on there twice.
I'm like, wait, no, the math wasn't right. I'm like, how do we have 10 when we have 9 altars?
Man. You might want to do
Who did you bribe for that, Alderman Gregory? Good job. 2 votes tonight.
better fix it.
Just so we're clear, we're ordering new software.
Yeah.
Well, you're putting it in your budget,
I
right?
am.
Okay, so, point of order.
Nine voting yes, so it passes with 9 voting yes.
Okay, let's just pray that each time you vote, it's always the same.
All right, that's good.
All right.
If it keeps coming up, we can do voice vote.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So the motion passes with 9 voting yes, none voting no. Agenda item number 2025-281 remains tabled or in committee, but the chair would actually entertain a motion to remove this item from the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion with removing this item?
Withdrawing it?
Yeah, we're going to remove it from the entire council agenda.
This is the furniture.
We'll come back to you with something different later.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion to remove, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The motion carries. The next item on the agenda is item 2025-485, an ordinance approving a professional services agreement with Tally and Associates in an amount not to exceed $120,000 for assistance with regulatory issues for the Office of Public Utilities. The chair will entertain a motion to place agenda item number 2025-485 on final passage.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this item? Seeing none, the voting will now be open. All those in favor of the motion, please vote yes. All those opposed, please vote no. And after this, we'll do voice votes. And the motion passes with 9 voting yes, none voting no. Are we okay with the clerk's office to do voice votes from this point forward?
I was
Okay.
enjoying that.
Thank you all. The next item on the agenda is item number 2025-488, an ordinance accepting bid and authorizing execution of a contract number PW 26-08-31 with Green Track LLC to furnish abatement and demolition and authorizing a supplemental appropriation in an amount not to exceed $977,857.28 for the Office of Public Works. The chair will now entertain a motion to place agenda item number 2025-488 on final passage.
So, second.
We have a motion and a second, and before we get to discussion, I just want to bring up that, being that the mayor is not part of the committee of the whole, tonight is the first time I've had an opportunity to speak on this ordinance. And at 6:10 PM last Tuesday, Alderman Gregory stated that Mr. Schaefer told him the local union did not send him any local or minority labor. I can only assume that statement was made because Mr. Schaefer did not contact the local union for labor. It would be impossible for them to supply labor when they've never been contacted to get it. So with that being said, I'll let Alderman Gregory have the floor.
Yes, thank you. Absolutely. So, I did have some good conversations, not only with our local, but with Mr. Schaefer and crew. And I encourage them that if it's not true, if their numbers are, better or whatever, they need to get that information. And, because that's something that I'm really big on. But even with that, the company that we are selecting, it's troubling that we're at such low numbers, 10 and 13 even local numbers. And, if we can't get the minority numbers, I would love to see us at least be at the 50% for our local. Because I do believe that we have many, many local firms that will work together to get the minorities in the city who have this. So it's troubling. And, and what's even more troubling is that both these companies have, they're getting these contracts, FBEs, female minority contractors, they're getting these points, but then the workforce is not minorities. This has to really be addressed. I know, Alderman Carlson, you said you was on the committee, so to speak, with contracts. So, I would just like to know your thoughts on how we fix this. And
Could you please
sure,
direct your question to
or
the chair?
Mayor, if I may ask, Alderman Carlson, or whoever's on that committee, how do we fix this? And, I asked a question, was there any minorities on the committee? I don't know if I got that answer, so I will ask you, Mayor. Is there any minorities on that committee? Is
So
there
it's
any
not-
people of color?
So the committee is not about who is being represented on it. When I became mayor, there was no one in the city, in the history of the city, monitoring contracts. It just wasn't happening. We weren't making sure our contractors were putting their employment information into the system. None of that was going on. So I created an internal committee with an OBM person, a finance person, a person from legal, a person from Public Works, because that's the majority of our contracts, a person from OPED, because they have a lot of contracts as well, or grants that we need to monitor. And then I chose an alderperson to be on it. And at that time, Alderman Redpath sat on it. And it was to monitor us. It's policing us. It's not necessarily, do we have minority participation? As you know, at the city, our minority hiring numbers are fairly good, but it's to monitor us. It wasn't about that. So it was a person who is legal. We don't have a minority attorney. So it's just people from the city making sure we are doing our job internally, policing ourselves.
I understand that, and I'm okay. Well, I thank you for explanation of that committee and what it is.
It's to keep ourselves accountable, sir.
No, I like that, and I just think that and maybe we can do this offline sometime. But I have some thoughts on that because this is something that's been talked about at the state level on companies sort of circumventing a way into government contracts with this, with these things, and it's really serious. And I want to vote for it. I truly do because I got houses in my ward. But something is just bothering me that even the company that we have doesn't have at least 50% local percentage. And is that a requirement or is that a goal? I know our minority percentage is a goal. We can't make that a requirement, but is our local percentage?
I'm going to defer to our
requirement?
attorney, sorry, sir.
Oh, no problem.
It's a goal.
It's a goal as well. And can we make that a requirement for 50% local? I'm talking about on the local side, not the federal.
We have the ability to make it a requirement. Right now, we ask that they do it. I think that we could meet with that committee if you'd like to talk about how many of our contracts would have been awarded if we did make that an absolute threshold, because we might not have the number of responsive bids that we need or that we'd like.
It's also a question, Alderman Gregory, I would suggest that if we can talk offline, but we talk to our local labor unions to find out their membership as well. That might help too.
Absolutely. Thank you. I was just trying to log back in so I can vote. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Alderwoman Notriano.
Thank you, Mayor. So last week I had asked to see some backup on this with regard to why the low bidder was disqualified and skipped over. I did not receive that, unfortunately. And also I wanted to know more about this good faith effort that's mentioned in the summary document for the ordinance. And I did not hear that either. I know it does say, and we did talk about their past performance. So that's past performance, not a good faith effort. And I would have liked to also seen data showing how much local participation they anticipated, how much Black and Hispanic participation, how much female or women participation should be on this project if we were talking about a good faith effort. So I don't know if you can help me with that. Like, do we not have that information, or?
The purchasing agent had a breakdown, but I don't know if he's prepared with that tonight. Is Mr. Peters here tonight? I don't know if I'm sorry, I can't see from here. Do you have those numbers, Mr. Peters, with you this evening? Or the two vendors, Green Track versus Schaefer, the minority and local hiring numbers?
Yeah, so we went back and looked at past contracts.
Okay.
And the last contract that we had with Schaefer for the abatement demolition, there was 0 numbers for minority, female, and city resident participation.
Okay.
So we did the same thing. We went back and looked at contracts for Green Track, and there were 2 of them, major contracts for the demolition, Springfield Rail Improvement. As far as the minority participation, there was 25.53% overall. There wasn't any female. And the city workforce was 9.72. And then the other contract we look at, the minority participation, this was for the Poplar Place demolition. That was a large contract. The minority participation was 28.74, and then that was also the local participation.
Okay.
So historically, that's what we looked at
Okay.
when the recommendation was made.
And so is that all that your department looks at when determining whether someone is responsive with regard to your minority participation goals and female participation goals?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
So what
They
do
do
you-
have to they have to make an effort. So they have
Okay.
to advertise prior to the contract that they're looking for contractors and so on.
So none of that was included for Schaefer or Green Track. Did they not send that in with this proposal?
I don't believe they did, no.
Okay, so it's really tough for me to understand how we can award this contract if we don't know. I mean, we're looking at their past experience, which is great, and that tells us something. But if we don't know what they're going to do, what their plans are on this project, we could be letting $300,000 more out the door just on promises made in the past. So I really think that to make this sort of decision, we have to have our ducks in a row, and we have to also let the council and let the low bidder know why they're being deemed non-responsive or why they're not eligible for the award. Was that ever done?
It was part of the grid that went out when we sent out the award notification. There was wording in the bottom of it that mentioned
Okay,
the workforce participation that we just talked about.
okay, but that was not supplied to us. Right?
I believe it,
I didn't
Give it
see
to
it.
you.
I think it was.
I think he
It's
gave
part
those
of the
numbers.
packet.
Last Tuesday, he gave numbers as well. It was brought up last Tuesday.
Where, what page of the packet? Help me out.
There should be like a grid that's got the different vendors that submitted bids.
Yeah,
And it's written,
Okay.
written at the bottom, the recommendation from Public Works is written at the bottom.
Yeah, you gotta turn your head.
yeah, for real. So this doesn't say, I see a local preference. I don't see, anything about their minority or female participation. I see it's broken down by the address. There are notes. There's a bid.
That's okay.
Yeah,
Turn it. It's a 7-day trial
I-
if you turn it.
yeah. So if they were supposed to submit how many, like literally a count of how many Black workers, how many women workers, how many Latino workers, that's not here. I don't see that. Is
I
that
don't know
not
that there's a
something-
mechanism to do that. When we look at the
Okay.
past, it's the percentage of overall participation for those groups when certified payroll is submitted.
Okay, yeah, no, sure, that's fine, and I understand that. But we are, in this instance, skipping over the low bidder based on past information with no idea of what the person we want to award this to, that is $300,000 more than the low bidder, no idea how many minorities they plan to use or how many, well, I guess they're both female-owned companies, so that's good for that. But, yeah, we have no idea what participation's gonna be like, so I'm having a hard time figuring out. So you just used past experience, is that,
Correct. We don't,
okay?
you know, they have to make an effort to advertise and say, we're looking for minority, we're looking for,
And that's
that-
also not in here, so they have to submit like ads to you,
they put it in the paper.
so you go out and find that.
We don't. They do. They have to
Right, no, they
make an
have to
effort.
advertise, but like, how do you know they advertise?
It's part of their bid, it's part of
Okay,
their bid
so
submission.
they do have to submit a copy of, it was published here, okay. Again.
I don't know that there's a way, like I said, I don't know that, I mean, it's something that could be discussed, but I don't know that, of a way that they could predict, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's a goal, and it would indeed be an estimate, but, something is better than nothing, and, yeah, it's just, it's pretty irregular for me, I've gotta say. So, yeah, if those discussions do happen offline, I would like to be included, so, thank you.
Thank you.
Alderwoman Conley, is it okay if the purchasing agent walks away from the
no.
podium? Oh, Jim,
that's fine.
Mr.
No,
P.
that's fine. That's
Okay, never
fine.
mind. Alderwoman Conley.
Thank you, Mayor. I think really what I'm hearing is with this contract, we're showing contractors in the community, people who are looking for jobs, that as a city, we prioritize and value with our money having minority and female representation on jobs like this.
That's what the administration brought forward to you, yes.
Yeah, and I think that's actually like what Alderman Gregory is saying. I think this is actually a selling point. Schaefer was not successful in this bid because, I'm sorry, I saw those 0 numbers for everything from the last project, and that was disheartening to me. But I think what can be taken away from this is there is value in actively recruiting and hiring women and minorities to help you bid on jobs that the city is prioritizing that kind of workforce diversity. So, I mean, I think there's something very positive about this. It is a more expensive contract, but this is the city putting money behind our value system, which is saying we expect to see numbers like, I mean, 28% minority participation. I would like to see that consistently on jobs, right? I would like to see women entering into these fields too. We know that there are labor issues, that we're trying to build our labor market, but when we as a city are putting our money behind this and saying it is valuable, it is of worth for you to go out and actively recruit women and actively recruit minorities and hire them and give them jobs and give you an edge at getting decent contracts like this. I think that's something to be applauded. The marketplace drives a lot, and what we're saying right here is that in this marketplace of labor contracts such as this, and we know we've got more demolitions going on, we know this is a contract that's going to be, this is a bid that's going to go out again. We are going to be looking for more companies. We want to see women and minorities included, and we're willing to put our money behind that. So thank you, Mayor. I appreciate this. I think it is a step forward, and I do expect to see similar numbers from Green Track when they report their personnel through that whole system. So, and certainly if they don't meet their past performance, then that puts a black mark against them for next year, when we, again, will be going out for more demolitions.
Or before next year even.
Or before next year, because I'm sure there are plenty of contracts with the city. So, thank you, Mayor. That's all I
Thank you,
have to say.
Alderwoman. Alderwoman Notriano.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Alderwoman Conley, for those comments, because they reminded me of something that I thought last week, and I think someone else maybe pointed this out, is if we're going by past performance, how do folks who have never contracted with the city win a bid?
Can I respond?
Do you mind if Alderwoman Conley responds to you?
no.
Okay.
I think
Alderwoman
that's
Conley?
what this conversation is pushing for, right? I mean, we are publicly saying, this is what we want. So if you have a workforce that shows a mixture of a diverse workforce, where you have women you already have them hired. You've already established relationships with our labor unions. I think we all got the email that said that Schaefer never reached out to the laborers, and that's concerning to me, right? Operating engineers. That's concerning, right? So have those relationships ahead of time. Have those people on staff. Don't make women and minorities tokens in your workforce. Bring women and minorities into your workforce. And be able to show as you're bidding, this is who we've got on staff right now. This is the agreements we've got set up with a diverse union. We're ready to go. This is the expectation we're putting out there, and we're showing that there's money when you meet this expectation. So I think that actually this meeting, this conversation, and the conversations we've been having are the message, and that is what we're telling our community. That's what we're telling the people who do business with us. This is our expectation.
Yeah.
And don't be token about it, be real.
Right. I agree completely. And I would say, the thing that I was sort of pointing out with my last comment is, we have to give everyone an equal playing field, and we have to ask for that from everybody, right? Like, we want to know what your workforce is, or what your predicted workforce is, and we're going to follow up with that. And that is how you prove to us, whatever the case may be. And so a little bit off that point was, but related, is it appears to me that the only good faith effort we're asking for is a ad in the paper. And I would say that is the bare minimum. And like, not good enough. So I want to see call lists, and I want to see the names of firms, the names of unions that you contacted and asked, and what did you ask them for? And if you can't, and if it comes back that they didn't have anything for you, you weren't able to meet those goals, then we can talk about your good faith effort. But just putting an ad in the paper, bare minimum, not enough. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderwoman Purchase.
So I want to touch on a few things, Madam Mayor. I'm trying to remember from the conversation. So what Alderwoman Notriano was talking about, we all know that I worked at IDOT, and we had to do a CUF, which is commercial useful function. And if you didn't meet the requirement to have DBEs in, you would have to show us that CUF, which is a commercial useful function. You would have to show who you reached out to, when you reached out to them, and then that excuses why you couldn't find anyone. With my expertise coming from the state, Madam Mayor,
Yes,
I was
ma'am.
wondering if I could be a part of that committee, because one thing that I did do before I even became an alderwoman, I worked with our local president for the union trades overall, which is Aaron Guernsey, and I would bring in the ministerial alliance when we talk about I'm Black. So going into the community of Black individuals, minorities, and women, I'm a woman. So I'm pushing for women to come into that area, and Aaron Guernsey opened the doors for that. We would bring in 2 times a year, we would bring in the Ministerial Alliance to find individuals within the community to push for that minority recruitment. I'm still firm, I stand strong and believe that we can do it, and that's why we're sitting up here as a caucus now and pushing for minority recruitment. I would like to use my expertise from when I did work at the state to be able to help in that endeavor. And I would ask to be on that committee with Alderman Carlson. I think I just heard Alderman Gregory say that Alderman Carlson is the person that's on that committee. I would like to participate in that and use the expertise that I had with the state. I worked in small business minority recruitment, SBE, and it was to recruit minorities for that and bring some of that to the table. I think that would be helpful, and I think sometimes it's upon us to go out and be in the community to recruit people who look like me to come to the table so that they can understand what opportunities are there for them and how do they get to that next step. I created a workshop that said, now what? So once you're qualified, now what do you do next to be able to obtain a contract, or what else do you need to get to that point? So I would like to be a part of that if you're open to it, and I just wanted to share that commercial useful function should be the next step if we couldn't find minorities in place to come into this category. This is a unique situation that just took place too. We have to go with the expertise from the departments. I know Corporation Counsel, you do your due diligence to ensure that we're following the rules. So I want to go with what you have provided to us when we asked these questions last week, but I would also like to be a part moving forward so that I could be a part of the solution. So Mayor, if you're open.
I will follow up with you offline, as I will Alderman Gregory as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderwoman. Alderman Gregory.
My final thing is, Green Track is listed with the state out of Bunker Hill, but they got local preference, as well as, their, the address, that they put in when you Google search it. It must have just be an office or something that they're running their mail from or something like that, but, they're legally listed out of Bunker Hill, so.
Sean, we can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. It is showing that Green Track is a company out of Bunker Hill from their Secretary of State registration, and any information that you look up for them. I do see that they have a South 5th Street address listed in our paperwork, but that must be a mailbox or something, because 2626 South 5th ain't too much over there. But I'll be a no vote. This feels yucky. And I'm not comfortable with it. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Carlson.
Yeah, I'm just going to add that it seems to me that this might just be because of the cost discrepancy, 300,000, 330. It might just be a one-off, and I get what everybody's saying. But, you know, our goals, and I would hope you would appreciate, I mean, it's minority, female, and locally owned. I mean, that's the goal of the city. And, you know, although when you bring up a good question, you know, how do new business, and obviously, you know, we're not a part of choosing these businesses. How does a new business come in, you know, should all things being equal? Well, I think that's where this was just a little bit off because of $300,000 difference. I think if a new business would come in and all things being equal and there's no price discrepancy, then you're right, I'd be all for, you know, even though it's the administration's decision if we went with that company. But this just seems to be a one-off, and I'm going to support this because, again, all we have are, like I said last week, are the track records of these companies. And so, thanks, Mayor.
Thank you, Alderman. Alderwoman Purchase.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Director, can you come back up?
Purchasing agent? Or-
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Peters, thank you.
So I'm glad that Alderman Carlson brought that up, and I have to be transparent. Is it black females on this bid, or is it white females?
I'm sorry.
Is it black females, or is it just white females?
Alderwoman, do you mind if I add to your question? So the certified payroll, can you explain to them what goes into the certified payroll? That may help the filing of the certified payroll, because that's what they upload for us to know, the contractors. So maybe getting into the weeds of that might help out a little bit.
Yeah, I can, do you want me to send you like the reports that we have? And, I mean, I can,
And if you know any of it now, because that helps with my decision on my vote for tonight. Otherwise, I may ask to hold it if I need to receive that information.
bear with me here.
No, you're okay. Take your time. This
Can we
is
let
very
him look
important.
at that, and we'll let Alderman Williams
Yeah, you could.
go, and then we'll, do you mind, Alderman?
Yeah, I mean, there's the minority workforce and female. It doesn't, I don't believe delineate, Director Fuchs, you may know. It does not delineate between
That's
minority,
important to
female.
me
and-
because
yeah.
at the state, we always had an issue with that, making sure that women who look like me was also on that job. I understand the minority and women as a whole, but I also want to make sure that we're including African Americans, black females too. So I may want to ask to hold this so that we can get that identification too.
I don't think that it's out there. I think that's
I
what
don't
he's saying.
think that data is
So the
available.
software is called ePrism. They upload it. They upload certified payroll to both the state and the city. And I don't think that it delineates that is what he's saying. That's why I wanted him to kind of go down the rabbit hole of that for you.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't report that way, so we wouldn't have that. We wouldn't have that data.
Okay. So all we know is that it's just females.
Correct.
Okay. Is that something that we can look into as a
Sure.
city?
We can look into anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And Madam Mayor, could you check into how we can identify that area, because that is important to me?
Okay, we'll look, purchasing agent or possibly one of the engineers at Public Works will contact ePrism and see what options are available with their
Okay.
software. And then we'll go from there and we'll report back to you. That's
Okay. Thank you.
Absolutely. Any other questions?
No,
Okay.
that's it.
Alderman Carlson.
No, I'm good, thank you.
Okay. Alderman Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. So we have a difference of $300,000 about, between the two bids. And in my opinion, the city is strapped for cash. We're trying to be productive, and you know I want minorities on the job, and I want minorities, but what I want to understand is why such a large difference in the bid? Can anybody answer that? Why is Green Trees so much higher, or Green Track so much higher? Are they here? Anybody from Green Track?
think so.
Well, so that says 1,000 things to me. I'll just say, we have to work on what we guys have been talking about to make this a little more fair, I think. But if we're going to say we're going to take the lowest bid and then come in and favor somebody's track record, Mayor, I just don't get that. Is that worth $300,000? To say, oh, but they did good at that, so I'm just going to go ahead and spend the extra $300,000. We're talking about demolishing houses. Demolishing houses. And we're going to pay $300,000 more where there's a company that can do that. And again, if they're reaching our goals, fine. We got to work on our rules and make that a little more equal with new people, I guess, and new business, and get the evidences. I hear all that, and I agree to that. But I'm asking, as a city that's strapped for cash, is this really the smart thing to do? Is this the fiduciary responsible thing to do in the midst of what we're going through with our own city department, better yet, contracts, with budgeting grid come up, and the way we use the citizens' money, we're paying $300,000 more to a company. We can save that money and get the same thing done, tearing down houses. I'm going to be voting against it. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Alderman Cox.
Thank you, Mayor. To Alderman Williams' point, and I get where you're coming from, but if you look at the other bids, you had one at $675, one at $975. $975 or $977, which is this green track, is the second lowest bid, okay? So the next one was over $1 million, and the next one was $1.2 million. $1.2 million, $1.25 million. So Schaefer was just a lot lower for some reason. The other three are a lot more consistent, to answer that part of your question. As far as, yeah, this probably, maybe we need to look at some other ways to award these contracts. I hear that. I don't disagree with that. Maybe we need promises ahead of time up front that you are going to do X, Y, and Z. But we're also looking at Green Track, who has a history now of not just one, but two contracts where we were over 25% minority, and I don't recall the other numbers. But they were good numbers overall, right? They could be better. We would like to see them better, but they're not terrible numbers. So this is a weird one. I think everybody and the horseshoe agrees. This is a strange one right now. But I don't know, I just think those are some important points to throw out there. Thank you, Mayor.
Absolutely. Alderman Williams.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So in your way of thinking, Alderman, I guess, and I'm looking at you so we don't do this. What I'm after then is, so those higher bids, let's go talk about them. What's their record? Or are they brand new people? Where's the director? The higher bids, were they never had bids before with Springfield? And that might be why Green Track got this great record, or what is their record when it comes to minorities or any of those type of things?
They were substantially higher, and they are reputable firms. Yes, sir. They have good reputation.
So if we're going by records, what does their minority pictures look like?
I don't have that with me.
Did we bother to look, or did we see the money and just say, oh, we're going down to this lower level?
The lowest responsible bid is our requirement. These were the two lowest bids, and one did have minority and residential participation, and the other one did not.
Thank you, Jack.
Thank you. Alderman Cox, you're good, right?
I am, thank you.
Okay. There is someone who signed up to speak, so I'm going to go ahead and bring Sam Schaefer Sr. up, who signed up to speak, and then we'll go back to the elders in case anyone has anything further.
The first thing I want to say is the truth matters. They said last week, or you said today, I heard it 3 times, that the first package we did, we had no minority participation. Our minority, our asbestos contractor is a female-owned minority. We had the same one last year. We got that. That's wrong. That was wrong to say that. Heard it 3 times a day. Last week, I thought we straightened it out. They said we wasn't union. Well, I'm waiting for my 40-year pin. That's a pretty good stretch in the union. Last year, we did not call the halls. We didn't, I don't know how long your committee has been out there where it checks the bids, but we did have 2 people in our own company that were minority people. And I don't even think we showed that. So yes, we did have minority last year. Okay, we got the same minority company this year. With Green Track, you said they had minority participation. We got the same company, wrote on the paper the same way. You said we didn't have it. You can't, that is not possible. We have minority participation. But now we have read the contract. We know that, I don't know, like say, how long this committee you had has been there, but we read, you want local people. This is a big job. It's easy to do. We can hire a labor from here, local, and we will ask for minority, and we will hire an operator, and we will ask for minority. I think we're going to meet all standards. Between our asbestos and the people we hired, I think we're going to be around 20% this year for minority. The good people in this council, they've stood up, and they want to do the right thing for the people. We have to have the truth to do the right thing. Nobody can make a good decision without the truth. The truth is, I believe we've hit every goal we should have. And I can't see a $300,000 wasted of taxpayers' money. I'm going to call it, I mean, if you hit the goals, you hit the goals. It's wrote in the contract. It says you want local people, we're going to have local people. If you hit the goals, how can it be wrong? When we said the Pledge of Allegiance today, one nation under God. God is truth, God is love. We need to love and respect our taxpayers and treat them as fairly as we can. When this stuff was just going to pass on through, they was going to have a recommendation and send her through. They was not going to tell the taxpayers to go to the second place bidder, it's going to cost you $300,000 extra, and they didn't tell them why. No, that's not right. They should know why they're spending their money, and they should know the amount. And from this day forth, every week, every year from now on, if it doesn't go to the low bidder that meets the qualifications, if it goes to the second place bidder or whoever it goes to, the taxpayers need to know what it's going to cost them to get there. They need to be able to understand why they're spending their money. God bless Springfield, Illinois, and all the good people in it. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderwoman Conley?
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to share with other council, because I did ask for clarification when we got the email about the minority numbers for Schaefer. Schaefer and Green Track are both using the same asbestos abatement company. So those numbers were separated out. But so yeah, they're actually, it's the same asbestos abatement company, but Green Track, my understanding is, independent of that asbestos company, also hired minorities as part of their project.
Yeah, and the only way we have numbers is what they upload into ePrism, their company themselves. So if they're not truthful in their reporting, we cannot help that. We don't upload it for them.
Thank you. That's all I want to say. Because I did ask for clarification on that to make sure it was the same company.
Okay. Alderman Gregory.
You know, this is a tough one. I agree. We haven't had this much of a conversation about one single contract, but it's due time. And you know, Green Track got the local, percentage that put them over the top. We are talking about taxpayers' money, and with our rules, of what they're supposed to be, I'm interested in offering an amendment to change this to Schaefer. They both have female MBEs. He's committed, just like Dave said, to getting minorities from the halls and calling them, and it's $300,000 less to tear down some houses. I don't know either one of them, but this feels like the right thing to do by the taxpayers. We want the houses down. We want to be responsible with the money. Neither one of them's local. Neither one of them have a actual site here in Springfield. They don't. And why would they put, South Fifth on their application? It just doesn't sit right with me. So Murdoch, I'll need a little help with this. So my amendment would be to change it to Schaefer, with the understanding that we want to see that he has to call our union members and get some minorities in good faith effort and show us that he does that good faith effort. That's my amendment. How do I need to go?
What if he doesn't? Well,
So that's where the cuff comes in.
if we put that in the contract, I don't see a way
What if the other one doesn't?
to force it.
But the cuff, the
Well,
commercial useful function.
What I'm saying is if you want to amend it to Schaefer, we can do that, but to make it contingent upon a future event that may or may not happen, once the work's done, we're gonna have to pay it. So we can amend it to do Schaefer, that's not a problem, but it's the second part. We can put it in the
It's
ordinance,
under the
but there's,
understanding of the cuff.
Alderwoman Purchase, what you saying?
It's under the understanding of the cuff commercial useful function, which shows that they reached out to other minority contractors to see if they was able to bid on this contract and if they had the capacity. That's what we do at the state. When I worked at IDOT at Small Business Enterprises, can we add that in? So they have to show it. That's the accountability on Schaefer's end. He has to show that he reached out to minority contractors. He reached out to black women.
prior to any work being started.
There you go.
Okay.
And that's what you have to do at the state of Illinois when you cannot meet the DBE goal. You have to do a commercial useful function that shows that you reached out to X amount of businesses in order to bypass that goal that we had already set on the project. So Sean, that's what can get included in the amendment.
True.
Okay.
That's your expertise.
So what I would need then is, Jeff, I would need the amount of unappropriated funds if we're going to go with that, because right now we're going from 977, 857, to
It's cheaper.
674, 541. So we're gonna need to I'll need to know how much appropriated funds we'll need. But then it would be a motion to amend.
Point of information, Corporation Counsel. So you're asking him that on the unincorporated funds? Wouldn't this be a plus back to it?
So, yes, it would. Right now, what the ordinance does is it allocates 500,000 of unappropriated funds. It appropriates those to this contract. We need to change that number to make it less, which then keeps that 300,000 roughly in unappropriated funds that can be used for other things.
Thank
So
you.
that would need to be a part of your amendment.
Thank you. I just wanted to understand.
Point of order.
Alderman Gregory, do you mind if Alderman Hanauer asks a point of order? Absolutely. Thank you, sir. Alderman Hanauer.
I just would question, to me, and look, you know me, I'd rather go with the cheaper number too, but to me, we're either voting this up or down, and then they're gonna have, if we vote it down, it has to go back, and they have to redo it. I think you get, I don't know, at the state, I was involved in a lot of RFPs. And we weren't allowed to change, once it was awarded to that group, you had to, the other groups could, and we dealt with computers, and we're always getting protests. Is there an avenue that people, that the losing companies can protest through the department or through the mayor's office or whatever, and not before it comes here? Because to me, if we're putting out an RFP and we're saying this is the scoring, and for one reason or another, somebody didn't do things properly, that's on them. And we say, this is the recommendation, this is who we're awarding it to. To me, I don't feel like I think it puts us in a bad situation for us to change it on the floor, even though it is less money, Sean. And believe me, you know me, I'm 100% for cutting it back, but I just don't know. I think we either vote it up or we vote it down, and if we vote it down, they have to start from scratch and we do it over. That's my question. Are we getting out of our realm, and are we getting into a legal situation where we're going to get ourselves in trouble?
So the city council here, the city council awards the bid. So Alderman Gregory would have the ability to amend the award like he's asked. So the amendment would be, and we'll get the wording, but the amendment would be to amend agenda item 2025-488 to award contract number PW 260831 to Schaefer in an amount not to exceed $674,541.
That's actually the plus 5%. It's 642 is their bid. It's above
Right.
that number.
Plus, they'll throw in another 20 houses, too.
Okay.
What?
So,
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Alderman-
we
This is
we
very
add
weird.
we add the 5, that includes the 5% on the local preference
This is very weird. We add 5% to people who aren't from here?
instead of deducting 5%.
Yeah.
We're getting educated tonight.
That should be in the packet, right?
Again,
Yeah, it is.
So is that your amendment
To
on the
award
floor?
Schaefer for the amount bid, and change the unappropriated funds to?
But that commercial useful function is what shows. Sean?
Mr. Peters, can I ask if you would go back with Mr. Ajizi just to work with him?
I mean, I
Thank
think
you.
it's just, you just take.
To go back with Jeff and help him? Thank you.
yes, sir.
Alderman Gregory, do you mind if I move through the horseshoe a little bit while we're working on this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Alderman. Alderman Donlin.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I have a question to Public Works.
Thank you, Alderman Gregory.
That's all good.
Go.
I want to hear this question.
Go do.
I thought we were going to get a break.
What you been doing? Everything going on?
Nah, not much.
No, Director, seriously,
No
what is the time sensitivity to this particular ordinance?
Well, we have a list of 40, maybe 41 structures that we have court ordered to demolish because they are a blight on their particular
Right.
neighborhoods. We can start anytime, and as long as you'll let us and the contract is good for it, we can be knocking down derelict houses.
So,
May I add, I think one of the risks of leaving it ride, for lack of better words, is we're out of a contract, so we don't have a contract now for demos. Correct, David?
Yes, ma'am.
And when it's cold out, sometimes people go into these
I
abandoned
get it.
houses and start fires, so.
What is the process time-wise for if we were to hit the reset button on this? How long does it take? As fast as possible, even if we were able to declare it an emergency? 30 days, probably?
Let's say that, sure.
Yeah, but everybody's revealed their bid prices.
I understand that, but what I'm getting at is, we've had a great discussion here today. I mean, I sat back and somebody asked me on the way here, one of my colleagues, what do you think about this particular ordinance? And I said, you know what, I haven't made up my mind yet. And we've had discussion about how important minority numbers are and women numbers and so forth, and I think those are extremely important things. Saving money is important. Quite frankly, I think you've all made very good points, and I still haven't made up my mind. But we do have the ability, I will remind all of you, to reject all and hit the reset button and incorporate some of these ideas into the bid process. I think they're good ideas, asking them to show ahead of time. What's your plan to meet these goals? Fair question. Alderwoman Purchase's idea about, I don't know what the words she used, but say it again.
CUF, commercial useful
The cuff
function.
thing, it seems to work at the state. Doesn't mean that we take everything they do, but all those are good ideas. I mean, I think what I would like us to do, and Alderman, I'm not trying to change your amendment or anything, is if we have the ability to incorporate all of these good ideas from this discussion into the process, this seems like the prudent thing to do, although on a very fast basis, would be reject all and start over. And then we come back and we all know the answers to these questions. We're not muddy, and I don't mean to disrespect anybody, because I know this isn't the intent, muddy in the waters, but I don't like it when we start negotiating things on the floor like this. Questions are great, but anyway, that's just food for thought. I think that might be the most prudent approach, in my opinion.
Thank you, Alderman. Alderman Gregory, do you mind while they're still convening that I continue forward with some of the alders?
Sure, go ahead. I'm
You
trying to
okay with
remember
that?
what I was saying. Hold on,
Thank
let me
you,
write it
Alderman
down.
Gregory. And then we'll come, I promise you, we'll come back.
Go do your thing.
Alderman Williams.
Sometimes we don't have a choice but to do this on the floor because of the way we operate up here. Only certain aldermen and certain committees and certain, so when we hear it for the first time and then we learn, just like hearing zeros, and then this man gets up and explains he uses the same minority abatement that the other one is, so it really ain't a zero. So I'm getting a little confused, and don't mind if the public hears what we go through to get something done up here, Alderman, until we can at least learn to do right. And we will be doing better in the future just based off of what we're going through. But to always say we shouldn't do it on the floor, no, that's why we're here. That's why you ran for alderman, to spend the time, and maybe we need to be deliberate sometime and take our time with this until we get it right. Instead of just, pushing it off, starting over, or whatever, work through it. Let's get this done. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Are we have an answer for Alderman Gregory?
Yes.
Okay, Alderman Gregory, we're back to you. Well, you'll still have time.
Okay,
We're not done.
okay.
So it would be a motion to amend Agenda Item 2025-488 to award contract PW 260831 to Schaefer in the amount of $642,420, and provided they engage the local unions to secure local workforce participation, including minority participation, and using the commercial useful function prior to any work being completed, and authorizing a supplemental appropriation in the amount of $303,316.28.
Thank you. And I just want to be clear to all of my colleagues, that deep breath was because I know this is something that we don't like doing, right? But there are times that we have to legislate and we have to do what's right. And, when I go to the Secretary of State, I look at this business. They're not local neither. They got local preference. So they're all on the same footing. They're all on the same footing. None of them are local to Springfield. So with looking at that, it's just, we'll talk about that later. But just looking at this, the fair thing to do, especially with taxpayers' money, is to go with the lowest responsible bidder. They are a responsible bidder. I think all of us has made it clear, and the amendment makes it clear, that we expect minorities and women on the project. It's a minority and women firm, both of them. And the last project, they went back several projects before on we always bring up Popular Place. We like, Popular Place had this, Popular Place had this. You know why Popular Place had it? Roy putting in an amendment with the 33%. And we fought, it was chaos. But they did it and exceeded it, did a great job. We would like to see a little more local, but they definitely had some minorities on it. And that's what we expect as well.
I don't want to forget my thoughts.
Do you want to make your amendment, or would you rather let the other alders speak first? Alderman Gregory? since you have the floor.
No, go ahead, finish up, and then I'll make the amendment.
Okay, sir.
Thank you.
Alderwoman Purchase.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So I just spoke with two gentlemen in the hallway. So certified payroll breaks down a detail. And I gotta say, I do agree with Alderman Donelan and Alderman Hanauer, because if Alderman Gregory's amendment wasn't going to go through, I was going to ask to hold it in committee to like figure out what did they actually do. At the state, we was always hard on minority women participation. I hate to say it, but I'm a black female, so I want to see, did they reach out? I know that Locals 477 has multiple black women within their local union. I know that for a fact because I know some of the females. I want to know, did they reach out? And that's where that commercial useful function comes in too as well. So I prefer to vote it down like you said, and then have them restart the process to know, did they actually do that? If Alderman Gregory's amendment didn't go through, I was going to ask to put it back in committee, because for me, that's something that I need to know. I can't vote yes on it if I don't know that they actually reached out to Locals 477, where I know that there's black women within that union hall, and did they ask for those women to be on that project? So that's where I stand right now, Alderman Gregory.
Sure.
If we can actually vote this down, as you said, if all of us can vote this down and the process starts back over and we include that commercial useful function, I think that all of us have a common goal right here, right now. Thank you, Mayor.
Alderwoman. Alderwoman Notriano.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I was just going to reiterate that this time is of the essence with this. We need this contract to go through, and although we could gain better participation numbers, those will just be projections, and we're just asking for projections now. This is our process, unfortunately. It's working exactly as it should. You know, we're supposed to be sitting here asking the hard questions and making sure that there is a good reason for us to spend $300,000 more on this contract. And to that point, another reason we shouldn't rebid this is because, I wanted to reiterate, everyone has now revealed their bid prices. We got a lot of bids for this project. We could do worse. So, and we could get stuck paying more than $300,000 extra. So we really should try to salvage this procurement and do what we can to see what are the projections that these companies can make for this contract, as opposed to leaving it all to what they've previously done.
Anything else, Alderwoman Notriano?
Oh, I was just gonna
Well,
let
several other people signed up to speak after you, so.
Okay. So I imagine Alderwoman Purchase is asking about what to do tonight. Holding it would be a good idea, and amending it is fine as well. Personally, and I would encourage you all to take pause, and I can't support this tonight, you know what I'm saying? And I don't really know how any of us could, so, thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Cox.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Murdock, I understand the amendment as you summarized it, I guess. I guess my question kind of goes back to what you originally said. What if they don't? So we say we're going to give them this contract under this amendment. If that was to go through, we'd give them the contract if they do X, Y, and Z. But what if they don't? And then where are we? Now we've awarded a contract to somebody who didn't do what they told us they were going to do. And I just want to make sure that that we've thought this all the way out. I'm still kind of, I'm like Mr. Donlin right now. I don't know where I am on this. I feel like we have three really good options, and I don't know which is the best. But I want to make sure that amendment is thought all the way out.
So if we did that amendment, the way I envision is we would not issue a proceed to work on any of the demolitions until they had contacted the local union halls and reached out and attempted to get the local labor. I think that's the only way to go about that. But
I guess
we're
my
doing it
question
on the
is,
fly.
I mean, how much time do we give them? A week, a month, 2 weeks, 7 months? At what point do we say, look, you're not upholding your end of the deal? I mean, it may be in the contract, it may be in the RFP already, and that I'm not seeing it, that's all. So you see what I mean?
Yeah, it's not in there, so that would be something that would need to be determined.
And that causes me concern that, and this isn't a knock at the Schaefers. I mean, they'll probably do exactly what we've asked them to do if this was to go through, but what if, right? All right, thank you. I appreciate that clarification.
Thank you, Alderman.
Thank you, Mayor.
Alderwoman Conley.
Thank you. And actually, I kind of want to follow up on, I guess, what Alderman Cox said. My concern here is that we all got a letter from the business manager for Local 965 and said, at no time in relation to the 2024 demolition work performed by Schaefer Excavating did Schaefer Excavating request that Local 965 refer qualifying operating engineers for any purpose, including, but not limited to assist Schaefer Excavating with complying or attempting to comply with any applicable hiring goals or requirements that are mandated and or required by the city's contract. I mean, that, Alderman Gregory, I understand kind of the concept. If we need to throw this all back, that's one thing. I absolutely cannot support giving a contract to a company that we heard from the union. They emailed we all got this letter saying they didn't reach out, they did nothing with our local operating engineers. So I think amending this to give it to them, I can't support. And because I do look at what people have done in the past. If you didn't reach out to our locals, you didn't have, their own reported payroll numbers showed zero minority participation. I can't support just giving it to them through an amendment. If the rest of this council wants to hold this or vote this down and put this out and deal with the fact that we will then have 40 court-ordered vacant homes left standing vacant, and we know what's happened in the past. We've had how many fires this week? I mean, we know what happens. We've seen the actual public health and safety threat that these vacant homes pose. That being said, I would be willing to vote with putting this back if that's, actually I'm not. No, I'm not. That really concerns me for the safety of our own local employees, our own firefighters, our own people who are looking for somewhere to be. Going into these vacant homes is not a safe option. I can't vote for the amendment. I can't give this to a company that, I'm sorry, you haven't shown. Your own certified payroll doesn't show that you hired minorities or women. And it's a separate contract. So I know we've mentioned this, it's the same thing, you know, Alderman Williams mentioned it's the same thing with the asbestos, but those are broken out separately in the information we were given. So the asbestos company, their minority women numbers are separate from what the actual company that we're awarding this contract to. Yes, they were in the.
Alderwoman Conley has the floor.
They were broken out in the email we got from, and I'm not forgetting, I can pull it up.
We're paying the
Alderwoman
asbestos.
Conley has the floor,
The-
please. Alderwoman Notarano.
The numbers for their payroll were broken out separately, and Schaefer showed under their payroll numbers that was given to us, 0. And that's why I can't vote for that. And I understand what you're trying to go for here, and I respect that, but I can't. I do look at what people did in the past, and that to me is disqualifying. So, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Alderman Cox, did you sign up again, or was that
No,
old?
ma'am, I'm sorry.
Okay, that's okay. Alderman Hanauer. Oh, I'm down to purchase, sorry. Okay. Well, they don't go away sometimes, so.
That's okay,
I'm not
Madam
wanting
Mayor.
people to leave. I mean, on the list, their
That's
names
okay.
don't go away. Alderwoman Purchase.
I'm good. So,
He knows I'm coming
Alderwoman
back, right,
Conley,
Alderman?
I understand completely where you're coming from. So the original thought that I had was to either hold it in committee, but after listening to Alderman Donelan and Alderman Hanauer, I feel like voting it down would be the best option too. So Alderman Gregory, do you mind removing your amendment from the floor?
He hasn't made one yet.
Did you or did you
listening.
not?
I'm
I
listening.
was about to say, did
He's
you or
on
did you
pause.
not?
He promised me that we would be on pause and we would go back to him so that all of you could have discussion and he could hear it.
So I'm
as a
asking
courtesy.
you, as my caucus council member, do you mind not adding that as an amendment and we add either holding it in committee or we add voting it down? But I think that adding it to holding it in committee would be the best thing because I'm not for sure where the votes is for holding it down. So would you be open to me making an amendment to hold it in committee? Because I want to see that they reached out. So Alderwoman Conley, going back to you, I understand that that it has minority participation, but as a Black woman, I know that Local 477 has Black women, and I want to know that they reached out. That's why I brought up the commercial useful function.
Right.
That I have an expertise and background from working at the Illinois Department of Transportation. I want to know that they actually did that. So holding it in committee, I spoke with Corporation Counsel Murdoch, that's something that can be done to see did they actually do that. So I'm open to holding it in committee so that we can get those answers. If not, I'm wanting to go with Alderman Donelan and we all vote it down so that the process can start again. We've had houses that set up for a long time. I can give you an example in Ward 5 where we had a yellow church that had sat for a while, and Director Fuchs came into a meeting when I had like a ward meeting, and that actual property got taken down, but it sat for over 5 years. So we know that properties actually sit. I also know that we have fires in them. I'm well aware of it. I've contacted the police department when I went to a house that was right across the street from mine, and we saw pots and batteries. I learned how you start a fire. Like, I didn't even know how to start a fire. So I learned how you start a fire with just even batteries and sitting with a pot and having multiple objects around to do that. So I do understand your concern with the fire department, and I'm all about safety too. But as a Black woman, I want to know that we had minority females that were Black that was offered to be on this job. That's a principle, and it's important to me. So if we have to hold this in committee or we have to vote this down, I would like to do either or, and it's up to you guys which one you want to do. I asked Alderman Gregory and Alderman Williams, were they open to me holding this in committee? And they said yes. If we want to go with Alderman Donelan, where we all voted down so that the process starts again, Corporation Counsel, you let me know which way is the best way to go so that we're not sitting up here for a long time still debating and discussing. So could you give me some?
Let me make
Well,
sure.
and
I ain't decided yet.
Alderwoman Purchase, can I interrupt for 2 seconds? I know that the Corporation Counsel needs to answer your question, but I would also, because this is a good discussion, in my opinion, because as the mayor, it wasn't an easy decision for me to make either. And so all of you being informed and all this discussion is great. I would also like to let the people that still want to speak before we make it a motion, if you do not mind. So I'll let corporation, do you mind that people get to,
Yeah, we
have
got
conversation.
Alderman Hanauer next,
and
and
and Alderman
then,
Gregory?
oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Do you
Sean,
mind?
I ask that you support me on that, because we also need to get the win, so we need to know if it's not gonna be voted down, it needs to be held in committee so that we can move forward with the process in the right way.
And I'll let Corporation Counsel Mordock answer your question.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think I might have misunderstood your question. Can you please repeat it? Can you repeat your question?
Sure. So my original thought that I had was to hold it in committee, make an amendment and ask to hold it in committee so that we can know that they use the commercial useful function, and that they had asked that union because Alderwoman Conley only brought up one union, right? You didn't bring up all, you just brought up one, right? I'm just,
Heard from, yeah.
yep, I'm making sure I got clarity on that. So the one union that I know that has black women, I want to make sure and ensure that they had actually reached out to that union through the CUF, which is commercial useful function. And if we couldn't go with that to vote it down so that we could ensure, I wanted to hold it in committee.
Yeah, we can hold it in committee for, to try to find additional information. I thought you were asking which one was better, and I did not want to opine on what to do tonight.
Kind of, sort of. I'm trying to figure out what I'm asking too. I'm trying to like make sure we get the right opinion to make our best decision tonight.
If we held it in committee, then we could ask those questions.
So I would like to, well, can
We have
I?
one, we have two more that want to speak, if you don't mind, and then I can come back to you, Alderwoman.
Okay, that's cool.
Are you fine with
I'm just
that?
trying to figure out which one is the
Sure.
best one to do.
That gives you some time.
Okay.
Alderman Hanauer.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. So generally, when you're doing a RFP and you have questions, it's not appropriate just to reach out to one vendor and ask them, will you do this? What generally happens is you have to go out to all the vendors that are out there, unless you finalized it into a final section of however many. And you do a best of final, and you say, I need to know this, 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 and this. And then they put it in, and if they screw it up, and they don't put it in correctly, they're done. And then that way, it's still, and it's everybody's on the level playing field. The concern I have is we've got one company here that we're kind of negotiating with, we're kind of not, it's kind of, but none of the other companies, and it's not just Green Track, it's some of the other companies that they might say, well, we could do it cheaper. They could say, well, this is what you want. I'm all for, I have no problem holding it and then going out with a best and final. And truly getting the best of final, but they're gonna have to go out to, and I don't know, did you guys cut it down to a certain number? Director? Or somebody, does it? I'm not sure what you mean. So, when you went through.
Mr. Peters, can you come to the microphone, sorry?
So a lot of times you go through and you'll get a 20 responses, and you'll break those down into, let's say, 5 or 10. Did you do that, or did you just kept all 20 responses?
Well, there wasn't 20, but we kept.
I'm just saying whatever.
Yeah, all the ones that came in were on
Okay,
that.
so what I think needs to happen is if we want to hold this and go out for a best and final, because you don't know, Green Track may come back and say, all right, we can do it for what they said they can do it.
Will we be the
I
same?
think,
I mean, you don't know. And,
It's
or
competitive field
just like
bidding.
they could say, they could come
it's an
back,
RFP.
they could come back and
It's a request
say,
for proposal, not
well,
a-
yeah, we did this.
Two separate situations.
So I have no problem doing that, but I don't like going to one company and not going to the rest. We have to go out and it's
Do you
gotta
mind
be
if I have
straight up.
Corporation Counsel weigh in on your suggestion?
that's fine,
The
yeah.
legality of it? Thank you.
So we have the ability to negotiate, I believe, under this RFP. That's our standard language. But that's different than what Alderwoman purchased as, which is just requesting additional information. If we're going to add additional requirements, and I would defer to the purchasing agent on this, but typically we do that for all of the bidders.
so,
Which is what Alderman Hanauer was
Yeah,
suggesting, correct? All.
yeah. I think that's just cleaner, and it's more fair.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Anything else, Alderman Hanauer?
No, the only other thing I would say about this, and I'll shut up, I do think that we need to have some sort of a protest that, prior to coming to council.
So,
Of some type of a protest type
Like a process.
process, yeah.
Alderman Hanauer, we do have a bid protest system.
Okay.
There was none filed in this particular case. When one is filed, the purchasing agent can decide whether or not to recommend, whether to recommend changing or recommend still going with that bid even with, there is a protest.
Right.
But ultimately, it comes to the city council to make that determination. So we do have a way to do that. We did not receive one
I
in
just
this case.
prefer that before we do this, that it goes through the protest period.
There
If
is a
someone doesn't
process.
file a protest, then they've, it's either up or down. So, thank you.
Alderman Gregory, do you want the floor? Because I've been putting you on pause, but we have Alderwoman Purchase and Alderwoman Otriano too.
No, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
And I thank everyone for their thoughts on this. And there's something that needs to be done. I'm still a little uneasy about the contract that is awarded. I don't feel like they're local per the information that the state has. They both use female asbestos contractors, so he should have some minority participation on there. However, Alderwoman Conley made a good point on past practices. My colleague here made a good point on new businesses and that competitive edge. Alderwoman Notarano made a great point about us making a decision tonight because all the bid information is out here. And Alderwoman Purchase, a great thought with especially that cuff thing. I like that. That's fancy. I like that. So what I truly believe, and I thank everyone for their commentary, voting it down would as Alderman Donlin stated, would just start this process over, and even at our fastest, we'll be out, and we know we have houses. I know we have houses and buildings that need to be torn down. So what I think is best, I think it's a good amendment, but I think we leave it at green track. I based off the information that I've heard and the track record and all of this things. However, one thing that I think we do need to add on this is a minorities percentage that we want to see, similar to what we did with Popular Place. On Popular Place, everybody wants to bring that up. We put 30% minority participation on it. 33? Was it 33? We'll put 33 percentage on this. So leave it at green track. Leave the cup, the information that Alderwoman Purchase talked about, and put a 33% minority participation on that, and that is my amendment.
So you're making an amendment?
Yes, ma'am.
I wasn't done.
Okay. We'll go, can we get a second so we can go to
Absolutely.
discussion? on
I've
the
waited.
amendment?
Go ahead.
You want to wait and pull your amendment back till we let them speak, or do you want your amendment?
No, we can come with the amendment now.
Go with the amendment now?
amendment or speaking?
I need a second.
Second.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we just?
So we have a
quick
motion and a
clarification
second.
on
Can
the-
you
on the amendment?
clarify your amendment first, and then we'll go to discussion on the amendment?
The amendment would be, the original ordinance is for, 977, so we leave it at that, leave it with the contractor with green track. Keep the cuff, amendment, Murdoch.
Okay. Prior to the work,
Correct.
they need to reach out with gov. I was going to
Yes.
recommend 45 days to do that.
Okay.
But that can be
45 days. They'll probably come faster.
if you want to cut it
That,
to.
yeah, that could be 15 days.
That could be
Yeah, it should be.
5 days.
Well,
5 minutes.
I'm just saying, like, they gotta,
Alderman Gregory?
But anyway,
What do you
Sorry.
want? It's
Sorry,
okay.
Mayor.
I'm trying to let him have the floor.
Just give them some
Two-
days.
5
I
days.
take your recommendation,
you said
Murdoch.
2 days?
Excuse me.
Alderman
If
Gregory
you
has
want
the
it to be 5 days, I'm just trying to, we want to.
I would like to be sensible. What was your recommendation?
He said
We can
2.
do, I said 45, we can do 30.
No, 45 is fine.
But they can get it done faster, that's
I-
just to start the
If
work.
they want to start working, I imagine they will.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So continue with your amendment if you do not mind.
And, with the cuff and the, 33% minority participation.
Getting that, girls?
Sorry.
Do
And
you
that's
mind if
that.
I repeat it back to you?
Yes,
So that all the alders know?
Yes.
So your amendment is to take the original ordinance 2025-488 as proposed, but then add, prior to the work being done, there is an amendment for a commercial useful function. There's 45 days that the contractor has to perform that work. And then there is a goal of 33% minority participation on the project as well.
Yes, ma'am.
So we have a motion and a second for the amendment. The second was Alderwoman Notriano. I don't know if you heard that. And then, so this will be discussion on the amendment right now. So the first person signed up is Hanauer. Do you have any discussion on the amendment, Alderman Hanauer?
The only question I have is what happens if the company comes back and says they don't agree to some of our things? I mean, if they, what happens?
Then we don't have a contract.
So,
Then we go back to square one, that's fine.
yep.
Alderwoman Purchase, you're the next one signed up to speak.
Thank you. So that's where I go back to Alderman Gregory with, I know that we typically don't do this, but putting our votes on the floor to just vote it down.
Well, we're on the amendment right now,
Yeah.
sorry. Okay.
So this is a part of me being on the amendment to ask him to remove his amendment so that we just vote it down and then it starts the process again. So that's what I thought, like, being on the
So Alderman
amendment.
Gregory, do you mind if Alderwoman Purchase asks you a question since she has the floor?
I would say this to everyone though, and I accept the question, but $1 million or whatever the extra this is, and all we ask for is reach out to the unions,
And hire
No,
more.
I-
try to get some minority. No, I hear you, I hear you.
Alderman
And,
Gregory has-
and try to, how many people's on the, demo? Green track, how many people?
Probably 2 operators, 2 laborers, 4 or 5 truck drivers on the average. Could be an extra labor or.
It's not a lot.
It's not a lot though, Alderman Gregory, but sometimes we know, you don't know where votes are. So that's why I'm asking to be on the safe side and just vote it down completely, because you made a point to say that it was minority participation, but for me as a woman and a black woman, I want to know that it was black women that was afforded the opportunity to come onto this project. So it's a little bit different, it's the principle for
That's
me.
why I left it, that's why I thought your amendment was good. Your thoughts on that, was good on that. They have some track record of, having some, you know.
But I don't want to seem like it's going just one way to ask. Alderman Hanauer brought it up that it looks like we're just bending to ask one company.
No, I just think that if we go out for bid, as Jennifer said, you know, there are public bids out there, and that sort of, complicates things. But I think this is a fair amendment. We're just asking them to make sure that they reach out to the unions to get some,
I can tell when I'm looking around the room that the best option is to vote this ordinance 2025-488 down and then start over with.
I can tell you that they're not gonna vote $1 million of green track. You see how hard we fought and how much good discussion
I understand
we
that,
had?
so that's why I'm playing it safe to just say no versus us losing the amendment that you're.
We're all not gonna vote this down, Keisha. This is gonna pass one way or the other. So what I'm saying is these amendments continue that. They don't cause any hardship to anyone. Is saying, hey, reach out to the unions, get some minorities. Here's your percentage, get after it. I don't think this is too hard of a thing for us to ask any company.
So then my question to you, Corporation Counsel, if this fails, do my amendment come forward next where we just vote it down and do still my commercial useful function, add in all the other things that we brought forward tonight?
You mean vote it,
Those
can I
things are
ask a
in.
clarification? Do you mean vote it down, or do you mean just put it back in committee?
Put it back in committee.
Okay, I
I'm
don't think,
sorry.
yeah, and I just didn't think that's what you meant.
Thank you
That's why
for
I asked.
asking.
Absolutely.
So right now, there's a motion to amend on the floor. If that fails, the original ordinance is on the floor. So if you are, if you sign up to speak and have the floor, you can move to put it back into committee.
So I'm asking if, I just want to put it on the floor. If Alderman Gregory's amendment doesn't pass, could we put on the floor to hold it in committee and add these
You're recommending to the
They-
council, that's what you would like to do?
yes, help
Yeah,
me out.
that would still be possible. We can't do it contingent right now.
Right.
But
Oh.
it won't be the last vote, this vote on the
Okay.
amendment.
Well, I'm just letting you all know because I kind of, I'm listening, but I would like to put it back in committee if Alderman Gregory's ordinance doesn't pass. I would like to put it back in committee and move forward with the recommendations that I put forward and that Alderman Donlin put forward for any of the ideals to be put in place, because I don't think that we've ever really talked about a CUF, which is commercial useful function, that can be added in as well.
That's in the
Thank you,
amendment, though.
Alderwoman.
That's in the amendment.
I understand, but I'm just trying to make sure we be fair if,
Policy-wise.
yeah.
Alderwoman Notriano?
Thank you, Mayor. So doing a little research here on the fly in our city code. So this wasn't a bid.
Correct.
It was a competitive sealed proposal?
RFP, request for proposal?
So, why did we choose that method for this contract?
That would be a public works / purchasing agent if you both want to come up. Director Fuchs and Director Peters, if you want to come up. Alderwoman Notriano has a question.
Y'all might as well sit up front.
So why, what was the, per code, what was the method of selection for this?
Competitive sealed bid.
I thought it was an RFP.
No, it was, it was competitive sealed bid.
Okay, so, I'm just trying to get it straight, because I've seen, and this is not the time that I wanted to bring this up, but I've seen a lot of things coming from purchasing as like sole source and other types of procurements. So I was just trying to figure out if we didn't do a competitive sealed bid, why, what's the difference, what was the rationale, let's figure that out. But yeah, so if it was, this is probably for Mordock. So if this was a competitive sealed bid, are we allowed to negotiate the same way we are with competitive sealed, where is it, proposals?
Not in the same way, but our bid documents allow us to negotiate and to discuss with the bidders
Okay.
under certain circumstances.
Okay, so we are allowed to do this negotiation that we're doing?
The amendment as proposed is acceptable.
Okay. And so I would like to add to that amendment, well, I guess it's out of order, but maybe consider that we ask every bidder to do this. They might not. But if they can go out and make the same effort, then we have everybody potentially on equal footing, was my idea. Because I do agree with Alderman Hanauer that it would, I know, right?
Right, she's not even here.
But it would probably be best for the city and for, our potential to get contracts in the future, to request the information from all the bidders, and give them a chance to comply with meeting these goals. But yeah, if you want to keep this contract as is, that's cool too. I think that's it. Thank you.
Alderwoman Conley.
Thank you. Alderman Gregg, I just want to thank you. I think your amendment is actually the most logical way for us to get to what we're really needing, which is show us you reach out to our local unions. And I fully expect that process does not take very long. And that expectation of what we'd like to see for my minority number. So I wanted to thank you for that, for the amendment. That was I like the way you've kind of threaded that needle. And to leave Alderwoman Purchase, I do intend to support the amendment.
Anything else?
Thank you, Mayor. That's it, no.
Alderwoman Purchase, you're next.
Oops, nope, I'm done.
Okay. And Alderwoman Conley, you're done as well, right?
I'm trying to get myself.
Alderman
done.
Carlson.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, an hour and a half discussion. I think there's been a lot of good points. I guess I'm concerned, and Sean, I'm glad, I mean, it's almost like you've had a little bit of a change of heart on this to go with another company or make them reach their goals, which that's really what all we're trying to do in this whole process. I think we've just confused it too much. I mean, and to me, this is why, and I've said it before, why businesses and companies find it difficult to deal with us sometimes, because of this process right here. And really, at the end of the day, all we're trying to do is get more females, minorities on the job. And all we have to go on is the track record. I mean, and projections, and somebody talked about it before, I mean, what are, and maybe it was Alderman Cox, what are the ramifications if they say, hey, this is what we're going to do, this is what we're going to do? You know, and there has to be some sort of hammer if they just don't follow through on that. That's why we only have what's in the past. And I don't know, it's just, I think we've confused this whole thing for an hour and a half, and really, we have rules and guidelines, and I just feel like we've sort of changed the rules a little bit over the last hour and a half, when it's pretty cut and dried, and ultimately, at the end of the day, we're just trying to get more minorities and females and local on the job sites from a company who, I don't even know who the companies are bidding on this, but from a company who does have a track record. You know, folks here didn't have the track record on this. I'm sure they're going to bid again on something else. But now they know the rules, but I'm concerned about other companies looking at just the process here. And, you know, maybe we're only going to have 2 or 3 bids on particular projects in the future than 5 or 6 because of what we are seeing done here tonight. Thank you, Mayor.
So, no, you may not, sir. Your 5 minutes is up. Alderman Gregory, your order in chamber, sir. Alderman Gregory, your amendment was to keep 2025-488 the same as it is. Also require a commercial useful function within 45 days. That needs to be provided to the city of Springfield no later than 45 days. And then 33% minority participation goal added to the contract, correct? We had a first and a second. Any other discussion on the amendment before we take a vote, a roll call vote on the amendment only?
I'm going to do a roll call.
Okay, seeing none, we'll do a roll call vote, and this is only for the amendment.
Ready?
Yes.
Alderman Cox.
Yes.
Alderman Gregory.
Aye.
Alderman Williams.
Aye.
Alderwoman Purchase, I'm sorry.
Aye.
Alderwoman Nutriano.
Yes.
Alderman Carlson.
No.
Alderwoman Conley.
Yes.
Alderman Donlin.
Aye.
Alderman Hanauer.
Aye.
Mayor, oh, you don't need to vote.
Correct. So the amendment passes, Alderman Gregory's amendment passes with 8 voting yes, 1 voting no. So now we're back to the ordinance as amended.
Motion to adopt as amended.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second to adopt the ordinance as amended. All those in favor of the motion, oh, sorry.
Ralph did it and,
Jimmy and Ralph.
Jim was the motion, Ralph was the second to adopt the ordinance as amended.
Alderwoman Conley
Any,
also.
and Alderwoman Conley chimed in also, I think it was a tie.
I'll just give it to one.
Any discussion on the amended ordinance now from the alders? I'm giving you each an opportunity to speak on that if you would like. Okay. So are we okay to vote on the system now for this? Okay, so your voting system will work now. All those in favor of the ordinance as amended will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And the motion passes with 7 voting yes, 2 voting no. Thank you all for your discussion. It was all good discussion. And it is a difficult decision to weigh and balance the cost of doing business locally and hiring our local citizens and our local minority citizens as well. The chair will now entertain a motion for an omnibus vote for agenda items
So moved.
2025-491, 2025-492, 2025-493, and 2025-494. We have a
moved.
motion?
Second.
We have a second. That's for the omnibus vote. I will read the titles in. 2025-491 is an ordinance approving the appointment of Pamela Cohen to the Board of Managers of Oak Ridge Cemetery. 2025-492 is an ordinance approving the reappointment of Susan Rimpfer to the Springfield Urban Forestry Commission. Mrs. Rimpfer is here if you would like to come up, and thank you for your patience. Would you like to come up for a moment? Thank you for waiting for us while we dealt with that situation.
It was very interesting. I'm Sue Renfer, a lifelong resident of Springfield, and I do have a passion for trees. Is there anything, do you have any questions for me?
Thank you for your interest.
We appreciate you joining. Again.
Okay. Do I have, is planting trees a priority for the city?
Yes.
Absolutely.
And we have a really great new arborist that
What's their
hopefully you'll
gumball?
meet soon.
I've met him,
Okay, yeah.
and I've dealt with 3 different arborists in the last 5 years.
So my request to him was please stay, just so you know.
Okay,
I feel your pain.
okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ordinance 2025-493 is an ordinance approving the appointment of Mary Francis to the Springfield Urban Forestry Commission. 2025-494 is an ordinance approving the appointment of Jacob A. Blair to the Springfield Convention and Visitors Bureau. The chair will now entertain a motion, or we had a first and a second for the omnibus vote. I read them all in. So now voting is open? Okay, and the voting is open. All those in favor vote yes. All those opposed vote no.
Oops, sorry.
And the motion passes with 9 voting yes, none voting no. The next item on the agenda would be 2025-497, and the chair would like to get a motion to hold this in committee, please.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second to hold this in committee. Any discussion before we? Okay, all those in favor of holding this committee, please say aye. Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The chair will now entertain a motion to put the next item on the agenda of
Got a question,
2025-498. Oh, sorry.
On the
good now?
last one.
Okay, sorry.
That's
What-
okay.
Oh, you signed up to speak, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's
Alderwoman
okay.
Purchase, go ahead, my apologies.
Madam Mayor.
I'm just
could-
whipping through these.
That's okay. Can you put me in contact, because this is in my ward?
So
I have-
497?
Yes.
So we, I'll let Corporation Counsel speak to that
I
if you
don't
don't
know,
mind. real quick.
yeah.
Yeah, so we can talk to you about that. We are going to be changing some of the paperwork
Okay.
that you received.
Okay.
But not changing I don't think we're going to be changing the thrust of
Okay.
the ordinance.
Yeah, I just
don't-
want to know what's
We
going.
still want to sell it.
Okay.
There's just some paperwork that needs to be changed.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. Sorry that I didn't see that you signed up to
That's okay.
speak. Okay. The next item on the agenda is 2025-498, an ordinance authorizing acceptance of proposal under RFP CS 26-19 and execution of an agreement with Abundant Faith Church for the purchase of city-owned property consisting of 2 parcels in the amount of $7,600 for the Office of Budget Management. Can we get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second to approve. Is there any discussion for this
Yes,
particular
yes, Mayor.
ordinance? Alderman Williams.
So, I've been trying to find out the location for these 2. I'm in the packet now, but I know on the front sheet it says nothing, and I can't find it in the packet. Is Abundant Faith here?
It's at the intersection of Truman Road and
Stanford Avenue.
Oh, I have no problem with that. Thank you, Mayor.
Any other
I recommend, I'm voting yes.
You're good for
if
it?
that's-
Okay. Any other discussion on this particular ordinance? Seeing none, the voting will now be open. All those in favor of the motion, please vote yes. All those opposed will vote no.
I'm a yes, Mayor,
Okay.
not registered.
Alderman Cox votes yes, so the motion passes with 9 voting yes, none voting no. The chair will entertain a motion for agenda item number 2025-499, an ordinance authorizing acceptance of proposal under RFP CS 19-29 and execution of an agreement with Springfield Urban League, Marcus Johnson, for the purchase of city-owned property consisting of 8 parcels in the amount of $4,000 for the Office of Budget Management.
Motion to hold in committee.
Second.
A motion to hold in committee, and we have a second. Any discussion from the alders on that? Seeing none, before we vote, Mr. Johnson is here. Mr. Johnson, would you like to come up to the podium? And thank you for your patience also. Are you in support of holding this in committee, Mr. Johnson?
No.
Okay.
So I can gladly explain. And thank you all. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. Good evening. My name is Marcus Johnson. Dr. Marcus Johnson. I'm the President and CEO of the Springfield Urban League. Less than 3 weeks ago, when National Urban League President Mark Morial broke ground on the league's new headquarters in Harlem, New York, he didn't call it an office. He called it a declaration that we are the architects of our own revitalization. Tonight, the Springfield Urban League is here to make that same declaration for the Springfield Urban League, for the Central East Cultural District, and for the east side of Springfield. We are not asking to purchase this land simply to hold it. We are acquiring it to anchor our SUL Urban Futures Initiative. For those who don't know, it is a part of our strategic plan where we currently own 29 parcels on Springfield's east side, with 13 located right within our cultural district, which is the 50 contiguous blocks around our 100 North 11th Street location. We have matched our vision with our resources, so we established an internal reserve to secure the soil immediately, while utilizing our cultural district designation to attract the state and federal grants necessary to build the future. This capacity has been recognized nationally. We were selected as an inaugural Urban Development Accelerator organization, one of only eight out of 92 Urban League affiliates across the country for an organization ready for progress and change. I don't think I have to convince anyone here of the potential of Springfield, and I do mean all of it. But I am here to reiterate that the question tonight is not just about the sale of a lot to the Urban League. In a time when it's easy to take a step back, the Urban League is stepping up. We are leaning in as an active voice to answer the question, why not here? Why not this? Why not our neighborhood? And in a time when accountability is best measured by who listens to the community, who responds to the call, the Urban League has raised its hand to say, we will do it. We are committed to executing a strategy that ensures this district thrives for the next century. To date, we have worked with the Illinois Housing Development Authority, completed a housing stock survey. We have worked with the United Way of Central Illinois as well as Security Bank, the National Urban League, the Springfield Sangamon Growth Alliance, and have explained on several occasions that this is a plan that will include the community from start to finish. But first, our goal is to make sure that the community understands and that each of you all understand that ownership is the best way to protect the stories that were lost, that were burned, that were destroyed, and the Urban League plans to do that with these lots. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. I have 3 alders signed up to speak, but first I want to ask, does anyone have a question for Mr. Johnson? Do you want him to stay at the podium, or does he need, Yes, please. Okay, so Alderman Williams, and I think Alderman Williams has some questions, so. Yeah.
Yes, first of all, I want to thank you for showing up, because we have entities that don't. You know, they got a hookup and they think it's okay just to not show up. So I do appreciate you
No problem.
at least showing up to hear our questions. Now, acknowledging that this is not my ward. You know, these lots are not in Ward 3. But they're personal to me because they're in my family tree.
Understood.
We go back. I'm an original Springfield guy. And so my first question would be, so is housing going on the lots?
Our housing stock survey that we completed is one of the first steps that we go through with IDA for a community revitalization plan. The second step is a permanent resident survey, which is also called a community needs assessment per IDA. That is a survey that will go out to no minimum than 100 residents within the 50 contiguous blocks of the cultural district. Upon the recommendations from that, then myself and the representatives from IDA will come to request to come to the council along with the neighborhood associations that are within that section to then present out the results of the housing stock survey, the permanent survey, and that will inform what the plans are or what exactly the community is needing. It could be housing, it could be community centers, it could be whatever the need is defined by the community based off of those surveys and the results of the housing stock survey.
So I really do appreciate that answer because there's a way in for the community to have some say through this survey. And that's really positive news that I can take back now. Again, to the people over there that are relatives and things like that. And some of my elders are still around from back in the day when the families had some of those lots. The second thing I would say, IDA doesn't sell me anymore because IDA backed the tiny homes that went there. They knew very well that the people in Stratford and Adloff and some of these other states, you know, that built them nice subdivisions, people of the caliber that could live anywhere they want, Springfield chose to live there, yet they put and backed tiny homes. So that's why I ask what's going to go there. But if we're doing a survey, I know they're not going to hear tiny homes. So I do appreciate you coming. I do appreciate you sharing. I'm asking that you guys be transparent with the alderman whose ward it is in, and let's work together and try to make sure the right thing's going. I know there's other people who touch these projects and this track that the governor created and this whole culture thing. I just ask that we work together, and I appreciate you for coming again. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Alderman. Alderman Gregory and Purchase, do you?
Yes,
Okay. I just want to make sure Mr. Johnson needs to stay at the podium, so.
No, I thank you for coming in. We had a brief conversation via email, and I reached out to you because I do have concerns. You guys do own a lot of lots, and you know, Alderman Williams just mentioned a little bit of what we've been through over the past, you know, years with things going in places that they want. So it's you know, I handle things a little different now, and I respect you highly. I know the Urban League does good work. I support them wholeheartedly, but I also am the elected official for Ward 2, and this is the first that I'm hearing about these great plans. You know, both cultural districts that the state designated are in Ward 2, both of them. We're only one city like that. And that's for a reason. That's the need is there. So I would just like to have a conversation offline, me, you, the mayor, our new planning planning coordinator, planning director.
Oh, you mean our new city planner?
Yes, our new
Gotcha.
city planner. And talk about some of those lots and how we as a city can move forward in our development that the Urban League owns that are not in the cultural district, in that cultural district. And you know, I don't want to have these conversations up here, but I do want to have those conversations and work out a plan that we're doing it. I'm not ever going to say no to this, but I think we hold it in committee. I would like for the community to tell us what they want there first before I get your process and your thinking and others thinking, buying the land and then deciding. But what I have experienced is that once the land is bought, then we will go to do even what the community does not want. Not saying that you would do that or the Urban League would do that, but it has happened. So I have to make sure that I do all I can to make sure that doesn't happen again. So that's why I chose to leave it in committee. Unless you build it tomorrow or build it next month. It seems like there's a lot of steps to go, and I would like to hold this in a committee until we at least have that conversation with the community saying, hey, 1 or 5 things could be coming in this area, and they're all at least okay with one of, you know, those 5 things being in their area. And then I'm willing to pass this or come back to the table. Or if it's the Urban League goal to ask the other aldermen to outvote me in my own ward, then that's just what y'all would have to do. But this is what I request, and I request that we hold it in committee and have those conversations and put together those pieces. And you know, we've had these conversations before. It ain't the first time that we've had these conversations, Mr. Johnson. So I'm just trying to make good on the things that I'm supposed to do for my community.
I completely understand, but point of clarification, sure. Is your hold because some other organizations didn't do what they needed to do, and so is the Urban League's now responsibility?
Not at all. Not at all. The hold is to hold it in community. on that particular to make sure that the community is okay with whatever it is that the Urban League is doing. I'm not privy to that. But the other situation, we can definitely have a conversation about, and regardless of whose fault it is, I'm ready to come to the table and put an end to it and move on, so we can better our community. Because in the end, the only people that suffer is the people in the community who live in the community. That's the only people that suffer.
Are there any assurances that the land won't be sold to any other entity?
It's held. It's on our docket, and
I'll let Corporation Counsel answer your question. Mr. Johnson's concern that, or Dr. Johnson, I apologize, is concerned that we would try to sell it to someone else.
So right now, it wouldn't be offered for sale, so as long as it was held in committee, we would have to do something with that ordinance before it was sold to somebody else. So we couldn't, a different ordinance would have to come through the city council repealing this one or rejecting this one and selling it to somebody else.
I would never, even if it did, I would never do that.
No, I understand, but
I would never approve one knowing that we're working.
no, I understand, Alderman, but I also understand that there are other entities that could outvote which your preference would be, which is to, to eventually get to a point of consensus on what to do with the land. But I just want to share with everyone, it really is, when speaking with developers, what they like to see is a package of land altogether. We own so much land over there that it's that package that allows us to go for larger revitalization plans and to attract some of the bigger name. I'm not going to get excitement up about big boxes or any entity that we've at least had conversations with, but they like to see packages of land that can be sold and transferred without there being a lot of red tape. So I completely understand the concerns of the previous entity. I understand the concerns with IDA. If you all look at the IDA revitalization plan that they have on their website, and the other cities from Jacksonville to Champaign and Peoria who have done this, it started with the community. We walked the doors, we put the signs up, we've done the work to get to the housing stock survey completed. I understand waiting for the other survey to be done, but we also have to strike when the iron is hot when it comes to preparing the package. So once it's developed, there are current grants that are available from our state as well. And there are certain resources that are available now, and there are developers that may walk from the table. I can guarantee that a part of the process that we have involves not only the community plan, but if we go against the community as a trusted messenger for 99 years, that goes against who we even are. We would never work against what the community offers. We have stood up, even before myself as a president and CEO, my predecessors have stood up against things that a lot of people wanted and fought back because the community asked and demanded that we fought back. We advocate, we work for, and we fight for the community. I will never not join you and everyone up here for fighting for the Springfield community be the best that it can be. I just would hate for time and opportunity to not meet. It's better to be prepared for an opportunity and not have one than to not have one. And we have done all the things.
I hear you. Listen, I have utmost respect for you and the Urban League. I'm just doing my due diligence as a public official, and I can tell you that, you have multiple things that could go there. We talked about a big, you had mentioned, well, what if it's a big box store? Well, it can't go there. They'll get to tripping on me, the traffic and everything. See, so that's why we need to have these conversations and really make sure the community's going to be good with what they want over there. We're not going to sell the lots. I don't plan on holding this forever. I think me and you have a good enough relationship to have these conversations and move on and move forward. Absolutely.
Alderwoman Purchase.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Dr. Johnson, I do appreciate you coming up here to give us a full detail of your vision. I hate when we do this. It's only 3 of us signed up to speak. 1, 2, and 3, and then you standing there. So I wish that these conversations was had before you had to come up here and talk about it. I feel like I want to respect my chair from the Black Caucus to vote with his decision, and it puts me in a tough space with you because you're telling me your vision as well. And now I have to respect what he's asking for to hold it and asking for my colleagues to support it. But we need to do better with having these conversations. All three of us can meet with you. We can talk about what it is that you're trying to bring forward and work on whatever the vision is between you and Alderman Gregory. But we've all, me, you, and him have had these conversations before. So this is just a pet peeve of mine when you have to come up here and now my colleagues got to figure out which way they want to vote. If they want to vote against Alderman Gregory or if they want to support Alderman Gregory with his wishes because this is in his ward. I'm not in the, you don't have anything in my ward. So it's me supporting him, but I just really want to put that out there, that we need to do better. We need to have conversations so that you don't have to come up here and explain yourself neither and share something that may be different from what he has. And you know what he just went through too with another entity in his ward where it may have not been a due diligence in the beginning and then we had to come back and reverse it. So trying not to repeat what has happened before, and you just said it up here, like, am I being punished for something else that has happened before? I just heard you say that.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's why I'm bringing it forward and being transparent that I'm going to support Alderman Gregory, and you know that I support you as well. And we just need to all come together, and please, let's not do this, like, up here in the public eye when we can, like, definitely meet. Thank you, Mayor.
Alderman Williams.
Yes, so, you know, white folks meet every day up here like this, and so that, to me, that ain't the issue. The issue is stuff like timeline. So what is your timeline?
Sure. So we started the housing stock survey shortly after becoming a designated cultural district in January 2024, designated by DCEO to start the process of preserving some of the cultural landmarks in the cultural district, the Firehouse, Union Baptist Church, Lincoln's Colored Home, Dr. Lee's Medical Center, and the Urban League as a 99-year-old institution. Shortly thereafter, we met with the representatives from IDA after looking at the community revitalization plans that were done in Peoria, Illinois, specifically focused on all the different ways that developers started to see that there was equity stake and opportunity after the community had provided the housing stock survey and the permanent resident survey to show what that looked like and what the community and residents wanted. We started the process for the housing stock survey in April. We paused it in July of 2024 out of respect for other more pertinent community concerns at the time. We resumed that work after trying to figure out how to get the right GIS parcels and where to get those from so that the housing stock survey could be completed by the company, by the residents, the Urban League, and our community volunteers. We were finally able to get that in April of 2025. The housing stock survey maps were created. We worked with the United Way of Central Illinois and during their Day of Social Action. In April, May of 2025, ourselves, the volunteers from United Way, and some residents assisted us with going through the community to get the housing stock survey completed. We received the final housing stock survey results at the end of October. The community resident survey is currently in the process of being put in a digital format as well as a paper format so it can be disseminated to the residents. That process will take place between now and February. Our goal is to get it out as quick as possible because the Urban League has also prepared to invest financial resources to those who complete the survey to again show ownership back into the voice that's necessary. Once we receive those surveys back, then it goes back to IDA, where they will put all the information together, and then there are listening sessions with the neighborhoods, feedback, notes, and then hopefully by May, June, we are able to present to the council what the housing stock survey has yielded, as well as the permanent resident survey.
Okay. I appreciate that. So what you described, I'm familiar with, and what other entities have been through this process. That's pretty much an IDA process. So one of the biggest, I don't really call it a problem, but I guess, unmet expectation of the residents on the east side is that they can drive from Dirkson's to 11th and there's just vast lots. Some of them are city-owned, like these that you're after now, and some are already owned by the Urban League. So these, what is it, was it 29 lots that you currently already have, and then you're adding these to them? How long have you had those lots?
We were a CDC corporation before my time. I believe it was the early 2000s, it was maybe when it was dissolved. Those houses have continued to be on sale. We have recently sold one just 2 weeks ago to a resident at a lot located across the street from Washington. So those homes and lots have been for sale for a while. We have commercial lots as well that are located on the east side of Springfield. After honestly watching and hearing the conversations that happen at the Horseshoe around whose responsibility it is for us to drive the change and who's supposed to build and who's building or what's not being built or why not the east side, that I've heard it here in the Horseshoe many times. I hear it in the community. I see it driving to work, driving home every day, that there are vacant lots. I know that there are businesses and things that go on and get built in our community that the residents are concerned about. So I understand the concern. I completely understand the concern. But one of the things that we're doing and being transparent here is that a strategy, a plan, our city has put out several plans that inform what's going to be built here on vacant lots that will be built and what will, I don't have the list of all of them, but we've had the next 10 and the recent one for downtown. Yes. And so what we're going through is a process of two things. We are working to develop a similar or hopefully a plan that we can actually get moved, and the Urban League is taking accountability for moving that plan forward, where frankly, the area that we've been in, the reason why we're a cultural district is because of the disinvestment that we were able to show in our application. So our plan is really focused on, there is no plan for our community. The Urban League is standing up to say, we'll take it and we'll figure it out. And in listening and learning from developers, one of the best ways to drive the change and to drive interest in our community is to also own the land and be able to drive the narrative in partnership and concert with the community. And we're doing that through surveys that inform and listening sessions that inform exactly what it is that we say that we want to be built in the east side of Springfield. So it's what's really working with the community to figure out what those things are. I can't tell you what will be built there until the community informs what that is.
I didn't expect you to be able to tell me. I guess my frustration is the East Side plan. I mean, they may not remember, but this goes way back with me. Back when I was dealing with Sangamon County Regional Planning. Where's the plan? Sangamon Growth Alliance, where's the plan? It's on paper. There's 3 of them on paper. Mm-hmm. But they're years apart because nobody ever takes action. That's why tonight I'm supporting the whole and trying to deal with him, because I'm trying to get somebody to take action. It sounds like you got a vision and you do have a plan and you do plan. You gave me some hardcore dates. Come May, June 26th, those listening sessions will be over with, and maybe we will be moving forward, but it's time. So what I have been doing as Alderman of Ward 3 next door is just start tearing stuff down. So either you're going to use the building or it's coming down. And that's what I've been doing. The lots, I'm with Ward 10. Let's put them back on the books. Let's get some tax dollars out of them. So a lot of moving parts are going on, but the big major piece of the east side in Ward 2, where these addresses are and stuff, it's just been stagnant. I mean, we got grown kids now. That it was a lot when they was born, and it's a lot today. And that's what I'm trying to assist him with getting rid of, especially on the main thoroughways. When we go down, I'm often told, well, you can't make them come over here. It's up to them. It's their choice. It's a market. Developer and they're going to do what they want and build where they want. And all that's true, but perhaps, just perhaps, if we didn't have all these lots, and we look like something, then maybe somebody would be interested to come and join us. Now, I'm probably preaching to the choir, but I'm more for action now.
Yes, sir.
And we can't just keep doing the same old green like this, green like this. All these people that own these lots, that's where my landlord registries come from. That's where a lot of these things are, because I'm telling you, we're starting to be this big, vast section of town with nothing but empty lots. And so I'm very careful when I see ordinances like this. Not that I'm against it. I just need to see the vision, the timeline, and that you're actually going to do something with them, or are they going to get ignored, and then I got to fight with Director Fuchs about getting them cut, and, you know, all that kind of stuff comes into play. You know, I could talk about the people who tell me about the current lots, and even the big ones, like we could take the one behind the Boys and Girls Club, we could take the one next to the barbecue place on South Grand. Those lots are so visible and so used, and Alderman, how come they don't build a swimming pool on it? Alderman, how come they don't put a football field on it, make it a part of Comer College? That's a lot of land back there. The one up on South Grand, same way. We need more parking. How come you got a city parking lot across the street? Why don't you just put another parking lot on that side? So it's a lot going on that I hear. So I'm very careful, even if it's the Urban League, and I benefited from the Urban League. So I know you guys good. The credibility's there. I went through some of your programs. Well, you're a young kid, but way back, I'll just say that. I'm not as old as Chuck, but I'm close. I appreciate you coming again. I know I said a lot. This is going, I'm going to support the alderman because I'm trying to do something different and try to hold some accountability of what we end up doing.
I understand now. Thank you. I'm here to just say everything that you're saying about who, I'm standing right in front of you. About who's gonna do it, who's responsible, who's accountable, who's gonna move to action, who has the vision, who's sharing the vision, who. It's very rare. I enjoyed the discussion earlier, but it's very rare that you see someone standing up saying, "I'm going to figure it out." With 99 years of history, I'll be as you all may not know, the squares that you're talking about, the land with the Boys and Girls Club, that's Urban League land.
Yes.
And so a part of the bigger picture is how do we now, the community wants a pool, that will come out in a survey. And now there's a plan built around all the possibility that is there. But developers, the developers are very interested in not just, when they see vacant lots, they think just houses. But when they see vacant lots with houses, when they see large parcels, acres of land, smaller ones off streets, they see opportunity in ways that we've seen opportunity. And so I'm with you 1,000%. And if there's anything else that I can share to articulate how prepared we are, how ready we are, and how this is and will be driven by the community from a 99-year-old community organization, then I'm prepared to do that.
Appreciate you.
Alderwoman Conley?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Dr. Johnson. I just want to say, I think you've really given a very good description of a clear public input process. I absolutely understand Alderman Gregory's concerns around, especially, with what happened with the last time. So I guess, but I think you're making really, really great points here, because I hear this from other developers. We need consistency. We want it to be predictable. We want to know, not that maybe you'll get this land, but here's the land, and these are plans, and this is feedback. And so developers like that. At least that's the feedback I've gotten. So what I will ask Alderman Gregory, I think there's been a case made for, not holding this for too long. You've certainly said what your ask is just to have a meeting. I can support holding this if you can commit to, we bring this back and vote it up or down at the next council meeting. That gives 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Do we have a week off in there?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Okay, I'm missing my week off. Would that be workable?
Alderman Gregory,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take
Sorry,
your
no, I'm
role, Mayor.
good.
Listen, I don't want to put any, I want to have a conversation, a greater conversation. A lot of the information that I heard was good. It's, some of it's first time I've heard of it, and that's sort of some of the problem. But I will tell you, Pastor Johnson has about to build 170 houses over in our community. And when he came, in the crunch, in the pinch, ready to build, we held him because we needed to work some things out. We needed to make sure the minority percentage was right. We needed to make sure the union thing was right. And we held him. And everybody voted and said, yes, let's hold him, da, da, da. So all I'm saying is, I just want to hold it, have some conversations, get some things worked out, understand more clearly where we're going. I should be able to know that. I'm the alderman of the ward, and move forward. That's all. That's it. I respect Marcus. I respect the Urban League, but I got a job to do. This is hard to sit here and hold this, but I know I got to do it because I got to do right by my people. It has to be right, and we have to communicate with them, and that's it. And that's all. And it's fine. It's no big deal. I just said I want to hold it a little bit, have some conversation, and move on. Thank you. I appreciate everybody's
And I'm sure,
commentary.
Dr. Johnson, you'll make yourself as available as you can. I mean, I realize we're going into a holiday season, people get busy, but again, I very much understand where Alderman Gregory is coming from with this request. So I think you understand, I would like to respect my colleague in the concerns that he has, because I did vote against his wishes on the tiny houses. And that was because we were at the other end of the process. And so as much as I think is important as what the work is that you're describing, and I also have confidence, I mean, if there's a trusted partner in this community, it's the Urban League. But I also understand very deeply where Alderman Gregory's coming from. So anyway, thank you for coming in, thank you for speaking. Those are my comments, Mayor.
Alderwoman Purchase.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and that's
Ma'am.
exactly what I was talking about. So I would appreciate it if you would ask for all of my colleagues to hold this in support of Alderman Gregory, but let's not do this anymore, Dr. Johnson. Like, this is what really frustrates me. We have to make sure that we work together. You have these meetings with us so that we can come collectively together to bring your vision to life and bring his vision to life. And I just said it when I raised my hand about what just took place with the tiny homes position. And Alderwoman Conley just admitted, like, she voted against him for that purpose. So let's not put ourselves in that fire to have this done. So if you could speak publicly for everybody to hear that you're asking to hold this as well, to support him, and we all three come together with you to talk about this and bring it back forward, I would greatly appreciate that, because we don't need to be against each other. And I get where you're coming from. You have a vision, but obviously Alderman Gregory said this is the first that he was hearing some of that vision that you had tonight. And we've all three met, well, me and Alderman Gregory have met with you and sat down and heard how you are fighting for the community that looks like us and what you're trying to do. But this is what I don't want to see. So if you could please say that for everyone to hear in the Black community and to hear in wards 2 and 3, that you are wanting to sit down with us. You are in favor of holding it. I know that you said in the beginning that it's a time crunch, but I'm sure Alderman Gregory is not going to hold it long. And listen, I'm Ward 5. So this is me coming and stepping out of my zone. And that's why he's looking at me smiling, stepping out of my zone to support my chair in the caucus to ensure that there's no votes against this. So I would appreciate it if you do state that, and let's get together within the next 48 to 72 hours. I know that it's a holiday, but this is very important what you're bringing forward too.
Can I have clarification on what the meeting is for again, for us to?
I think Alderman Gregory requested a meeting with our new city planner, Suraksha,
Okay.
and yourself and him. Would that be correct? Yes. Okay. I took a note of what you wanted, so.
And is there any way for me to know what specifically you will care for me to bring or articulate that wasn't a part of the application or share tonight?
Marcus, like, we just need to meet so that Sean feels comfortable with moving forward and that we don't run into the same situation before. That's all I'm asking. We need to stick together, and this is how we get divided most of the time.
Understood.
And you know that. So I'm just asking you, please, so that we don't stay on this subject for too long, to just support what Sean is asking for. We can all meet with you. We know that we can't be more than 3 with the mayor in the room, so you two and you could meet together, and then we 3 can come together with you and meet to try to propose it. Am I right, Sean? You gotta pull your mic to you, so everybody can hear.
I just want to vote on this amendment, hold it, and then we can set up these
I'm just
meetings,
saying.
and me and Marcus can have a talk. Honestly, we could have probably had this talk and been voted this through by now.
And that's okay. Like, I'm sitting here saying that I support what you're saying, but I'm supporting my chair too,
appreciate you.
so, yeah. I
understood.
start putting my butt in the hot seat a lot.
Oh, that ain't hot.
Dr. Johnson, I want to thank you for having a vision for the area and the east side and development and your commitment.
Thank you
Personally, I
all.
want to thank you for that, Dr. Johnson.
Wait, no, you forgot.
So the
You
motion-
gotta say, I asked
Motion on
you.
the floor is to hold in committee. I'm just going to do a voice vote. All those in favor to hold in committee, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. And the ayes have it. So it'll be in committee. There will be a committee meeting next Tuesday night, and it'll be held in committee. And then in the meantime, Dr. Johnson, I will make sure that we reach out. The Economic Development Director, Dr. Raising, is in the back. If you want to go see her, we'll make sure that she has your contact information for the new city planner. Her second day on the job was today. She spent the entire day in HR getting acclimated. So she's very new to the city. She moved here from Salt Lake City, so just please give us some grace there. And Alderman Gregory will make sure that works out.
Thank you.
No problem, and I commit to meeting. I commit to meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Dr. Johnson. The next item on the agenda is item number 2025-516, an ordinance authorizing acceptance and execution of Illinois Criminal Justice Information Authority, ICJA, grant number 102601 in the amount of $2,902,213 for the co-responder programs and authorizing a supplemental appropriation in the amount of $2,902,213 for the Springfield Police Department for emergency passage. Can I get a motion?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this item? And does anyone want Chief Beal to come up and speak to this? No? Okay. The voting will now be open. All those in favor of the motion, please vote yes. All those opposed, please vote no. And the motion passes. Alderman Cox, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Okay, so the motion passes with 10 voting yes, none voting no. Thank you, Alderman
Sorry, I
Cox.
don't know what.
You're good. I didn't know if it was working.
I
Your-
click, it
your-
doesn't work.
Yeah, your voting machine, it's okay. At this time, that is all of the ordinances. Is there any unfinished business from the council to come before the council meeting? Alderman Cox.
I got one thing, and this might be more of a thing for Mr. Mordock. About 8 days ago, there was a third-party contracting company that came in and was laying fiber in a neighborhood, and I woke up to dozens of text messages and phone calls and emails from this neighborhood because they didn't, according to the people who live there, they had no notice. People walk out, they're drinking a cup of coffee, and there's somebody digging a ditch through their front yard. I understand that there are easements, the people understand that there are easements, but they were very upset that they were not giving any heads up. And what I'm asking is, I don't know if there's a way we can pass an ordinance or something that would require anybody to, show us, document with the city that they have given notice, something, because I know this is not the first time it's happened. It's the first time it's hit me in Ward 1, but I believe it hit Ward 9 a year ago or so. I think it hit Ward 10. Maybe everybody else around the shoe. I may be the last guy. But, I mean, I had to call Director Fuchs. Fuchs is like, hold on. Anyway, Director Fuchs's office was great, got me a contact number at that third party. So that poor guy probably got a billion phone calls. Point is I don't know, I'm not asking for an answer right now. And I was gonna bring this up last week. I wasn't able to be here, but that's all I've got. Thank you.
And I think Director Fuchs can follow up with you too, because there's some conversations that he and I have had about that as well.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Alderman Carlson?
Well, to answer Alderman Cox, I think it was a year and a half ago. I think it was Alderman Hanauer and I got together. I think everybody, I think it was a 10-0 vote. I think prior to anybody laying cable, I think all they had to do, Jeff, was to notify, I think, Ralph, it was the first house. Now they do have to notify everybody, so I don't know, there's got to be some ramifications on that. Because not that they have to do it now. That was probably a year and a half ago we voted as a body. I think it was 10-0.
I'll talk with you about that situation.
Yeah, thank you.
Alderwoman Purchase,
Thank you.
we're on old business.
Yeah, this old
Okay.
business. Director Fuchs, I do want to say thank you to our Public Works Department for, working around the clock on Wednesday night going into, I call it Gobble Gobble Day, Happy Thanksgiving, for putting salt down on the streets. And I want to commend the police department because I had a police officer that came and knocked on actual doors instead of giving tickets or calling for towing to come out to ask people, could you please remove your vehicle off the street? But I think too, what I got from my neighborhood associations was, how does this map work? How do they determine what main roads are going to be done? And then when do they do the actual side streets? Is there a way, as we're approaching more of the snow time effect, that you could let us know? And you did an awesome job too, because you sent us out an email that day saying, hey, this is what's going on, this is the map. And I did a real video to show, like, this is what the sign looks like on your street. If you have to remove your vehicle because you see this sign on your street, please do so. If you have a emergency where you cannot come out, please call the non-emergency number to let them know why you can't come out and remove your vehicle. Is there a way moving forward that we can kind of get instructions on what to send to our constituents? Because they reach out to us. We all represent our wards, and so they reach out to us and say, hey, when is my side street going to be plowed? Hey, they only did the main roads. Are they coming out the next day? So I do want to commend, because I watched. I saw how we had 3 trucks coming down. The first truck was on one side of the street, the second truck was in the middle of the road, and then the third truck went to the opposite side of the street. So I understand why we have to have vehicles off of the main roads at one time. But can you explain how you determine how that works?
Our operational necessity is to keep the primary or main streets open. That would be streets that carry a great deal of traffic that traverse from one side of the city to another. We need to keep them as clear and as open as we possibly can so that emergency services can respond, so that the police, the fire department, ambulances, and other first responders are able to move, and that if people choose to drive during a snowstorm, that they can, if need be, get from one side of the city to the other. We had a 10-inch snow event. It started on midnight on, well, we deployed at midnight on Friday. It started snowing at 3 o'clock in the morning, and it proceeded to snow all the way into Saturday morning, into Saturday afternoon, and Sunday evening. If you recall, it was snowing at a really good pace. In fact, I would say from 1 to about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we were getting almost an inch an hour. So at that point, given the resources that we have, it's important to keep all of those trucks on those main streets so that they are open for police, fire, and emergency services. After that, once the snow has begun to subside, we need to continue to clear all of those off, and then and only then we can turn our attention to what we call the secondary streets. Those are the streets that don't carry as much traffic, but they are the ones that feed from the main streets into the neighborhoods. And so it doesn't do much good to clear the neighborhood streets if the secondary streets are heavy. The more snow we have, the longer it takes for us to clear the main. So to give you other than that basic formula, it really depends on how much snow we're going to get, how cold it is and how cold it's going to be, if the wind is really going to blow, how long it's going to snow, what time of day, what day of the week it is. Every snow event is very, very unique. But please know our operational priority are the main streets. As long as it's snowing, it's still coming down and it's still covering the streets. Secondaries after that, and then the neighborhoods after that.
Thank you.
That is our operational premise. You have to adopt it to all of those different variables.
Is there something to, Madam Mayor, that our communications director can put out to do those following steps? Because even in my real video, I said you can refer back to the city's website, you can refer back to the city map that's put out there, and you can go to the city website, Facebook page to keep constant updates. I said that in my video. The other thing is, I understand what you're talking about, but sometimes we have to say this for the public. I am my grandma's caretaker on Sundays and Mondays. I watched our truck come down Madison Park Place on the side streets on Sunday, and they did it about 4 times. I watched them within a 4-hour period, and they went all the way down to Pillsbury, and I watched literally out the window to see that this was what was happening. But I think sometimes it's upon us as alder people to be able to inform our constituents when they're asking those questions, and sometimes I can't tell them. That's why I said in my video, you can refer back to the city's website, you can refer back to the city's Facebook page, and that's what I'm doing. I'm looking at their page constantly to get that information because I don't know what's going on. So if you can figure out a way to kind of get us that information that we can help put out there, because we want to help you. We want to tell the public like what Public Works is doing and how they're moving to ensure that those streets are being plowed and, you know, them moving their vehicles off of the road too. I told them it was enacted at 8 a.m. that you needed to have your vehicles off of the streets in order for our plows to safely clear the roads that day. So I just want to follow up and say thank you, but also find a way too that you can get that information to us so that we can also push it out to our constituents in our district.
I'm happy to do that, and if it involves more emailing to each of you as members, I'd be happy to do that.
Thank you, and you know my downtown definitely was on me as well. I had events that was canceled on Saturday, and which I'll be speaking in New Business about the tree lighting and just businesses that was open. The biggest complaint I heard, which I saw, we had the tractors that pick up the snow and move it out the way for street parking, but they said it was only really done down Monroe, and I looked at it, and then down 6th and 5th, it wasn't as clear for people to park on one side of the street. So people are parking on one side but not the other because it's kind of piled up with snow. And I just would like if we could send out maybe a memo or something that would help, because we got to respect what you all do. Like, you are the experts, you're the person making the decision on how the snow should be removed and when it's being removed.
May I
We'll
answer to that?
We'll be on 5th and 6th Streets tomorrow.
I asked the communications director to do a synopsis in the newsletter with Director Fuchs about the event and what all was used. And so in that information, they can add what Director Fuchs covered tonight, how they choose which roads get done first. So we can put that in that newsletter. And then I actually requested, this is on me, so you don't have to take the heat. I requested what roads were going to be having all the snow removed from downtown based on the events that are upcoming. It isn't that we're picking one street over another. There is going to be tomorrow night the ice rink.
Yep,
Before
ice
that
rink,
is
yeah,
the ice
at 4
rink
o'clock.
over by Union Square Park.
Yep.
So there's going to be community members there, so we asked for the snow removal, the big piles be removed there. Then we have the tree lighting, and then on Saturday night, we have the
Christmas parade.
But I asked for those 2 areas specifically first because of the 2 events tomorrow night.
Gotcha.
So that we can accommodate the folks coming down for that.
And Madam Mayor, I just want to help you because that's my ward, so people are reaching out to me to ask me, hey, how is this working? How are you guys doing?
Well, we can't
that?
really promise how quickly they're going to get those big piles moved away because it is a lot of work, so. But that is the intent, that when there's an event going on, that we make sure we can accommodate those events quickly.
Gotcha. Thank you. Thank you, Director Fuchs.
Thank you, Director. Alderwoman Notriano, do you need the director?
I do.
Okay.
Thank you. And about snow, I missed the beginning of that, but just wanted to ask, so I know, I haven't looked at this in a while, but I know before I was an alderwoman, you could report businesses who had not shoveled the sidewalks. Is that still a thing?
You can report anybody who has an unclear sidewalk in front of the property that is adjacent to their home, their commercial space, or their business. All you got to do is give us a call and we'll send an inspector.
Or use the city navigator, which is on the main page, and they can report anything there, too.
Okay, perfect, yeah.
Good luck.
Okay, great. Well, that's great. Yeah, so just wanted to remind everybody that it is their responsibility, whether they're businesses or not, to get that snow off the sidewalks.
Absolutely.
Just driving here, I saw somebody going across South Grand at 5th Street, in the road on 5th Street, because the gas station and whoever's across the street, I can't think of who it is, has not cleared those sidewalks. And it was rush hour. It's dangerous. So if you're a business,
you really got to step up and have somebody come clear those sidewalks. And if you're a landlord, same. And I just also wanted to point out that you are not to put your snow in the street, or, right, you're supposed to put your snow in the right of way or out of the way of traffic and the sidewalk. So if, what is our process for, I don't know, holding people accountable who push their snow into the street?
Let us know, we can write them a ticket.
Oh, okay, so
Gotta
is
pick
that
up the
involve
phone.
the
You gotta communicate with us,
police?
you gotta let us know where it's at. Give us
Okay.
the exact address.
Okay, is that like a police thing or
Public Works.
Public Works.
you guys write the tickets? Okay, great.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good to hear. Thank you so
And the
much.
guys who push the snow would love to find out who's putting that snow in our clean, clear pavement.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Yeah, there, you gotta pile, make yourself a corner, sacrifice a few parking lots. Don't put that snow in the streets. And thank you guys for doing an amazing job. I stay at home, but still, it looked good. Thank you.
Alderwoman Purchase, you signed up again?
Yes.
Okay,
I
go
got to
ahead.
push back just a little bit with my alder sister because I got them downtown businesses.
Can I sit down?
Huh?
Can I sit down?
Well, wait, Alderman Gregory, do
Oh,
you need
It
him?
still goes towards you, Director Fuchs.
Okay, not
My
yet.
knee's
But-
killing me.
But you know my downtown businesses, so some of them had to cancel events on Saturday. And I also see, so Alderwoman Notriano, I just want to clarify things for everyone throughout Springfield. I see some of our guys inside this like little motorized thing and they're sweeping the sidewalks. So she just said that it's our job as business owners to do it, but then I see our guys from Public Works in this little vehicle and it's like sweeping the snow off of the sidewalk that's the city property. So which one is it?
We have a downtown crew that specifically works within the confines of, let's say, 5 or 6 blocks of the old state capitol, because it is so heavily trafficked by pedestrians.
So I just want to be clear for clarity for my downtown businesses. I see that vehicle.
Want to sweep up? We're happy to have them do it.
No, I think we would rely on you and your guys, and we thank you all for doing that. But I want to clarify it for the public so that they know what those vehicles are. And can you help me out? What is it called where they're inside that vehicle and it's like sweeping
It's
the
a
sidewalk?
four-wheel drive side-by-side. The actual brand, I couldn't tell you, and has a brush on the front of it that spins. The expert.
Yeah, I was about to say Sean would know. But yes, so we have our guys that's down there doing that to keep the sidewalks clear for anybody. And as well, we know it's going to pick up in January and February with the legislators being in the Capitol too. So I'm sure we'll hear some things about, hey, how is this sidewalk being cleared? And we have the actual manpower that's doing it. And I just wanted Alderwoman Nutriano to know that our Public Works Department does do that during the snow removal too.
Not in Ward 6.
Thank you.
I got you. I just wanted to let you know about
Public
Ward
Works did a
5
Great
downtown.
job last year removing snow from downtown when the legislators were coming back. So
Yes.
thank you for that, Director.
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you,
Alderman
Director
Gregory
Brooks.
said you don't have to keep
No,
standing.
you good. Dave, I just, overall, communication was good. You can have a seat. Snow and this outdoor work is tough. It's tough. And, I appreciate the crew for responding and getting to everything that we sent or we might have missed or things happen. Machines break down. It's cold. This is the toughest work. I mean, we get a lot of complaints, but be out there at 15-degree weather with all that stuff going on you and trying to move that snow, even with the equipment we got, it's tough, and we get cold. So it's tough. I appreciate the work that y'all do. I can tell you I'm very tired, but
You out there at 4 in the morning.
we haven't seen snow like that in a long time. That was 10 inches.
Thank you,
like,
Director.
Quick. That was quick. That was 10 inches quick, and then followed up with by another 5 the next day. That's a lot of snow to move with very little places to go. So I compliment the Public Works crew. Try to get you some more help in the future. But in the end, man, we just gotta keep working at it. That's all we can do.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate
Thank you, Director Fuchs.
Thanks, Director.
Yep. Any new business, I think Alderwoman Purchase is going to be first.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Yes, ma'am.
So, as you said, me and you will be at the grand opening for the Union Square Park
I
skating
don't know
rink.
about that. I have a ribbon cutting first that I may not make it there because the
Well,
ribbon,
I'll be there
the
to
ribbon
help you
cutting was
out.
on my calendar first.
I'll help you out.
Okay.
So I'm gonna be there, and we're having President Lincoln and Mary Todd. They're gonna be in their ice skating equipment, and they're going to open up the ice skating rink, and that will be at 4 p.m. And then following that, we're asking you to rush down the street and get to the tree lighting. And that's at 4:30 with Santa, and I'm excited to do the countdown. All is welcome. Please get your kiddos out there so that they could see that as well. And there's a lot of activities going on, and then following that, so we just got a lot going on this week. So Wednesday we're busy, and then you come back downtown and be live from the 5 on Saturday for the Christmas parade with Santa again. So you get to see him twice. So I am encouraging everyone to come out. Thank you for smiling in the crowd because everybody looks so like I'm ready to go. But I'm excited and I'm ready to be there and live with the action. And it's my favorite time of the year. I like when I see Santa out and everybody participating. And this helps to bring patrons downtown to support our local businesses with shopping. And that's what we really need right now. So I encourage my colleagues to come downtown Wednesday and Saturday. And I hope to see you all. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you. Any other new business from the alders? Seeing none, we are to citizens advanced request to speak to the council. Go ahead, Clerk Redpath.
Brianna Day.
I wasn't planning on being first, so I'm going to keep it short, sweet, and simple. I just want to say that I will gladly fork out more tax dollars if it means that local minority workforce is prioritized with living wages. We already know that humans aren't making enough money to afford their housing, their food, all of that good stuff. So if we have unionized minority local workforces that can bring all of us up, that would be absolutely fan-freaking-tastic. I also want to state that we need to acknowledge the fact that women-owned businesses are not minority-owned businesses. Yes, women are important. Yes, women are still oppressed in 2025. However, I saw a white man come up here and speak today. I did not see a white woman come up here and speak today. And that personally, I don't like that. I don't think that that's something that we should be doing. I feel like it is a way to navigate the system, get around it, and boom, oh, if I can put my wife on this sheet of paper, oh, I magically have a minority business, even though my wife is obviously not going to speak for her own business. That it doesn't seem right to me. I am also thankful that somebody is standing up and saying that I will figure it out. So Dr. Johnson, thank you for that. But I want to acknowledge that if developers are more interested in entire neighborhoods being disenfranchised before they're willing to help, we need to be pointing at that as a problem ourselves. Because why does an entire neighborhood have to be disenfranchised before we can come in and before we can fix it? That's ridiculous. So if that's the case, then we should be prioritizing smaller local developers in order to solve the problem, because obviously in this instance, bigger is not better, as bigger disenfranchisement means a larger population of humans being hurt before a solution is put in place. And then to follow up with everything, I just want to go ahead and state that this is a reminder that no one is illegal on stolen land. Property lines are a man-made phenomenon, and there are humans sleeping outside in the snow. Thank you.
Aaron Cahill. Ken Pesha.
You can start the clock now. You know, it's disheartening every week I come up here and two aldermen just bother to not even be here for any of us. Every week. You know, I heard from some of their constituents where they had to. It was a fundraiser a couple weeks ago. They, of course, had to leave early. Must have been in a rush to get there. They rolled in the door together. It's the kind of thing that's frustrating. It's like the donor class I mentioned last week. $85,000 buys a lot of stuff, right? I guess that's the kind of thing where when we really talk about where the money goes in this town and who has to listen to people and why, they already know who they're listening to. Don't listen to us. They get their emails, they show up at their parties, they show up at their fundraisers. They get their orders right there. It's just disgusting. It's got to be embarrassing for you guys, right? I mean, you guys actually stick around. I'll give every one of you credit for that. Even if you don't like what I have to say, you're still here to listen. But it's got to be kind of embarrassing that two members of your own council walk out every single week at this point. Doesn't matter who's speaking, doesn't matter what's happened, any of it. If you don't think that that's dismissive of this entire council, I ask you to sit down with them and ask them where they're going. Because quite frankly, I hear a lot from Ward 1 constituents about why their alderman isn't present to hear from constituents. I will note for you that while he seems to get a lot of emails from nice neighborhoods about things happening, or he shows up to talk about piers getting built in the lake, he won't answer his constituents as to why he leaves every week. Does he answer you guys? I know the answer, but it's not my place to give it. But I think it's strange that the same two people walk out every week, because if one of you does actually need to leave, how close are we to not reaching quorum? Which leads to my next topic, quorum. So the Police Civilian Review Commission doesn't really make quorums. 2 straight meetings, they barely made it through. Director Posey, who's a city liaison, noted, as I have, that there are applications in lieu. Can you guys just approve some recent applications for the Visitors and Tourism Bureau, for the cemetery? But what about the Police Civilian Review Commission, Mayor? Oh, you had your communications director drop a one-liner in the Illinois Times last week about how we're not filling those positions. So do you guys enjoy those headlines? 2011, 2015, 2018, 2021, 2024, 2025. Police Civilian Review Commission's a dead duck. It's ineffective, doesn't get cases. Sitting paused yet again. And now we have a sitting mayor who's purposely not sitting that. You know my application's in there. We can have a good laugh about that one because we all know that ain't happening, right? Doesn't matter. I could be the only application. We'll sit on that till the end of the term, won't we? Rather than put together a real Police Civilians Review Commission. Maybe one that could even do a good job. Maybe you could even empower it, right? Why do that? We're going to get the Tourism and Visitor Board going. That was really suffering, right? It actually was, believe it or not. The mayor, the mall manager who was here last week, Jacob, great guy, doing a great job with the mall. I'll give him great credit for that. His replacement was from 2 years ago, the last mall manager we had. That's how timely this stuff is, and we wonder why things don't get done. It's just frustrating. A lot of the times when I look into things, that why things aren't being done around here, or why things happen a particular way, it's because that's the way it's always been done. I mean, it's embarrassing to read decades of that Police Civilian Review Commission just being a complete waste of everyone's time, including the 4 remaining law enforcement people that are on that board. You guys just named one of the Democratic sheriff candidates as the head of that board. I mean, are we just wasting his time? Somebody gets a cough and we don't have a Civilian Commission Review Board yet again? I mean, I've shown up for 2 meetings for no reason. That's a waste of my time. And it's just frustrating that there seems to be a lot of time wasted. Like, we spent 2 hours tonight talking about a sealed bid. I don't know if you guys can check Google, but I know what sealed means. It means there's no negotiation after the fact. They put their best offer forward. So when we hear people talk about legality in here, I heard somebody talk about worried about litigation. What happened when we were talking about that land registry? Take us to court. That's what we heard. Thank you.
Tara Standage. Roy Walton. That's it.
All right, no others?
That's not, no.
Oh.
I've got one more.
Who you got?
I've got Ryan Barham
Ryan Barham?
on my list.
Okay.
Yeah, he's on
Okay,
my
hold on.
list. You're on my list.
Okay, yeah.
You want to say his name? Ryan Barham? I think,
Ryan Barham? Okay, thank you.
you're welcome. It's right there. Thank you.
Hello, councilors. I'd begin by introducing myself, but my name is presently being broadcast on multiple screen projectors, so I'm just going to get right into it. I haven't been attending these meetings very long. I only started 3 weeks ago after deciding to get more involved in local politics. In this brief period, I found myself most engaged by the debate surrounding Proposal 2025-470, establishing a referendum to ask the people of this state whether or not a licensing and registration service should be explored for landlords. Clearly, this is a contentious issue. Very loud voices on both sides of the debate warn of dire consequences should the other emerge victorious. Tenants and members of the Faith Coalition for the Common Good have put forth that housing in many of your wards is unacceptable, arguing that landlords charge too high a fee for inhumane living conditions, which they are reluctant to improve. Meanwhile, many landlords have put forth arguments that the licensing initiative will lead to higher costs for the city, landlords, and tenants alike, as well as unconscionable delays in timely housing for those in need of homes. I'm not a politician. I'm only familiar with the law as it relates to copyright and patent infringement due to my job as a federal patent examiner. I'm very new to this debate, and I do not believe that I'm qualified to speak on the matter for whether a licensing initiative in and of itself would be a net positive for the citizens of Springfield. But I do believe that the people deserve the right to be heard. After all, that is the central tenet of our democracy, that our leaders should represent the people who chose to place them in power. This is my primary concern, and why I'm coming before you here today. The vote that took place on November 18th was mired in controversy. Alderwoman Purchase was advised to vote in such a way that her vote, while explicitly not of no vote, would result in a failure to pass Proposal 470. She was advised to do so by a corporate counsel who, later that very meeting, admitted to failing to properly advise the mayor regarding that same vote. The mayor was supposed to cast the tie-breaking vote, something the corporate counsel admitted he failed to mention at the time. As such, at this point in time, I would argue that the matter remains unresolved. I think we can all agree that, regardless of your position, there was a great deal of confusion surrounding this vote, and I urge the members of the council to try the matter again, so there can be no uncertainty as to the decision that was reached. I do not believe that this vote reflects the will of the majority, either that of this council or of the city of Springfield as a whole. This proposal was meant to pass a referendum, a question posed to all of Springfield on what they wanted. I understand that not every matter can be passed to us. That would be an extremely time-consuming process, and one which hundreds of Springfield citizens, and such matters are often irrelevant to our day-to-day lives. But from what I understand, this has been a hotly debated topic for decades at this point, and one which hundreds of Springfield citizens are clearly passionate about. Timeliness is not an issue, nor is public indifference. On this matter specifically, therefore, I think it would behoove you to listen to the people. By refusing citizens the opportunity to voice their opinion on the grounds that 4 aldermen said no and 1 alderwoman said maybe, you're denying us the opportunity for us to have a say in how we are governed. This is un-American. It is immoral. It's not how we're supposed to do things. Do the right thing. Let our voices be heard.
Thank you. That's all we've got. Can I get a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
I need a second, please.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Ayes? Thank you. The ayes have it. Thank you. I just need you to vote. Thank you.